The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching dolly vision.
Topping up, dolly vision's dreaming real. True crime scene blast feel so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, there's the route down known. Dolly vision headlines, king of beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shining, echoes in the night. Mark the truth while live on air light. Topping up, Dolly vision's dreaming real. True crime scene blast feels so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing shadows crawl? People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, there's the route down known. Dolly vision headlines, king of beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shining, echoes in the night. Mark the truth while live on air light.
What is up, YouTube? It is your boy Dolly, and of course, I have the lovely PJ with me. Now, y'all leave your DNA on that like button just in case PJ makes you go down the hill tonight. You don't want that. You don't need that smoke. So definitely leave your DNA on that like button. Smear it over it, headbutt it. I don't care what you do, but just make sure you hit the like button. It helps us in the algorithm. Plus, if you're brand new here, make sure you sub up the channel. Help us hit 61,000, PJ. 61.
I'm not done chewing my candy.
You're not done chewing. We got a lot of work to put in tonight, and you over here eating candy. Okay? The people were waiting. They've been waiting patiently because you over here eating caramels. Okay.
Sorry, not sorry.
Tonight, we are talking the Delphi murders. Anybody know what that is? Anybody know? Indiana? Little girls, Abby and Libby, brutally murdered by what some people believe is Richard Allen. So, Aunt Nancy was in court today, right?
She looked like she was about to blow away.
She was. She did a little thing outside the courthouse today. And the wind was just a ripping, right?
Is it really that windy there?
I guess it is, right? Pretty windy. Angie, thank you for being a member for 21 months.
Thanks, Angie.
Been hoping you would cover this. Well, we're here with you tonight, guys. We're here, and Turtle Gang is getting on the train, keeping the challenge alive. Okay. So, anyway, the Delphi stuff, I've been talking about the Delphi stuff for a good while now. And
it happened 7 years ago.
7 years ago. Okay, I didn't even have a true crime channel 7 years ago. So we're going on roughly a little over 2.5 years here on YouTube and true crime. And, this is a case that I started following before I actually had this channel. And I seen it on TV. And so I followed it over the years, the whole, when the police came out, when they first discovered the Anthony Shots account, okay? I talk a lot about the Anthony Shots stuff because I believe this has a lot to do with the death of Abby and Libby. Now, a lot of people in these groups on Facebook, they don't believe that Anthony Shots has anything to do with it, right? But I'm one of those people that I don't believe in coincidences.
No, me neither.
I don't. I do not believe in coincidences. I believe everything happens for a reason. And so I'm a little bit different than some people, right? Because, and a lot of these people that are into the Delphi group, even the psychiatrist is in a lot of these Delphi groups, right?
She was in almost all of them.
All the
at one
Facebook
point.
groups. They like to argue and fight over who killed these little girls. People are saying Brad Holder. Some people are saying Ron Logan. Dolly's been out here screaming Keegan Klein. Right?
They had a witness up today that people believe matched the description and had rhyme and reason also.
And Nancy, our favorite aunt on YouTube. Now, you know I love Nancy to death, but I can't always agree with Nancy. I can't sometimes. I know she's the OG. I know she's the GOAT of true crime until I pass her. Okay, until Dolly passes her. But right now, she's the GOAT, the greatest of all time. But I think she's a little bit wrong, and she's believing this conspiracy where they're trying to railroad a man that has mental health issues into prison for the rest of his life. And I just can't get behind that, because this man, even though he's confessed 61 times, okay, more times than anybody in the history of confessions, I don't believe his confessions to be real.
Everybody in the chat is so sweet today. Thank you.
You guys are great. We got the best viewers in the world, okay?
I feel very loved.
Maybe even the universe.
Yes.
Okay.
I definitely say universe.
I would think, we got the best viewers in the universe. So, I've been pushing this thing that maybe Richard Allen is innocent.
What really upsets me about it is that Nancy Grace is actually my absolute favorite. And simply the whole innocent before proven guilty whole thing, and him not having had a trial at this point and being in solitary confinement in a prison before even having a court case.
It'll make you crazy. At this point,
even if he helped do it, I feel like that's wrong.
I don't even think he did it. They're miscommunicating what he said to people. When somebody's confessing to you, it seems like you would understand and write down everything they're saying. He said, he was interrupted by what they can't make out to be, was it a man or a van? Okay.
Right.
If he's in the middle of the woods, I can guarantee you a van didn't drive down the creek. Okay.
Well, I think people were saying one of the neighbors pulled up in their van and came home, but I didn't realize they were by homes like that.
I don't know. It was in a pretty wooded area, and it was behind the property of Ron Logan.
And then what got me is that part of his confession was that he did something with this gun, and that was probably how he had the bullet fall to the ground. And then he told them down the hill, and then they went. So how did the bullet get between them?
Between their bodies.
Plus, how did he know? You can't tell me that he did the crime and the one thing he remembered or managed to say in his confession was, oh, remember that bullet that I misplaced and left at the crime scene? Yeah, that's what I'm going to include in my confession. And they had just given him his paperwork.
Yeah, and as he was confessing, they were feeding him information that he learned from lawyers and things like that.
They were giving him, he's got to be served with paperwork on what they have against him.
So
he was just given that.
Nina, thank you. Never liked Nancy. I have been with Delphi and the family for 7 years. Would love to talk to you guys.
Oh, yeah.
We are going to open up the phone lines. Don't worry. Let us get through our ranting about the case, and we'll definitely open the phone lines to hear from each and every one of you beautiful people tonight. And thank you, Nina. Nina's been gassing up the trains 20 minutes before we started. She was ready to rock and roll tonight.
She was ready, huh?
She was ready. Okay, so my thing is this. They had been feeding him information. In the beginning, he said he shot the girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the girls wasn't shot. They were.
He also said he essayed his grandchildren.
So he was pretty much just crazy saying whatever they wanted him to say.
But then later he was already in solitary, and he had been injected involuntarily with God knows what.
Yeah, they were giving him medicine. But then later he said he throws a box cutter away behind the CVS, which this box cutter was never found, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But how did it go from I shot him to, because so he was saying basically whatever they wanted him to say. So in a way, they were taking notes on him and writing stuff down, but wasn't recording it. And it makes it hard to believe. And then, of course, the psychiatrist from the prison,
She was a
fangirl, right? She's
fangirl.
all into true crime.
She was following the Facebook groups before he was arrested, and it's almost like when he got arrested, she pushed in front of the line, like, pick me, I'll be a psychologist, please.
Yeah.
And so then she got to the front of the line, got to be a psychiatrist, got fired since then, and then went on stand yesterday and testified to him saying all this stuff. That was the thing today that really could possibly get him, because the jury doesn't know all the stuff we know about the conspiracy and all the, How
do we know that this psychiatrist wasn't feeding him information? We don't at all. And like you were saying, she's a fangirl. She's a part of these Facebook groups. I think when you're involved in a crime like this, you shouldn't be like on a YouTuber show. Like,
no, it's a conflict of interest.
And she was asked what YouTubers people watched, right?
And then she picked all the wrong.
Everybody said Dolly. Everybody watches Dolly, of course. So if you answered anything other than Dolly, you answered the wrong answer. Okay, you get an X.
I saw a comment of her saying that one of her favorites was Dirty Dubes, whatever. I don't.
Okay. Well, yeah, of course.
I'm gonna be nice.
Of course, she wasn't watching the good YouTube channel. No. She wasn't watching Dolly and PJ where the information is right. Okay, she's watching all these people that believe this man is guilty. And so it gives you a bias and it gives you a reason to try to get this man convicted.
Thank you.
Nina, did she win the lottery? Make sure if y'all got a membership from Nina,
tell her thank you.
You say thank you. Give her a big virtual hug. Okay, so and they're so secretive about what's going on in the Delphi case. No cameras allowed in the courtrooms. Very limited information coming out.
I keep interrupting you. I just keep remembering stuff because I was kind of like going through this rabbit hole all day. And then I was arguing with a couple of people on Twitter today because there's so many people that are either far left, far right, like everything else in the world. They either believe he did it fully or he didn't do it at all. And my question was just that today. Well, I mean, it's hard to trust somebody or an organization when you're being shunned out and not allowed to view it. And somebody told me, well, Indiana's always been like that. And this wouldn't have never been the case if they allowed the cameras in for the first time ever in Indiana. And so I'm like,
they've never put up the fence and all
exactly. And that's what my response was. Well, is it always a case of where your reporters outside of the building get their cameras removed from them and their memory cards erased? Is that normal?
Yeah, I mean, the media.
That's weird.
Is the media going to storm the courthouse that you need to put up these barriers and these fences? And Laura right here said, jumping on the PJ train, riding shotgun. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for jumping on the PJ train. Now, I think the party's over here in my train.
We share a train. Don't make me
I don't know if her train cart has a party going on, but we partying in the Dolly train, okay? PJ, my cart is better, okay? I don't care what y'all say.
You're trying to get stabbed in the neck today.
I'm trying to get down the hill, Dolly, right? That's the code word for the night, down the hill. All right, if she tells me to go down the hill, we in trouble, all right? So thank you so much for your donations to the channel. Make sure if you're just tuning in, you give the video a like. It really helps us in the algorithm that brings in new people. And, of course, when we open the phone lines, it brings in new callers with new opinions. Paula, thank you so much. Happy birthday, Piggy. Okay.
Happy birthday, Piggy.
And also LG girls jumping on the train with us.
Thank you.
What a hell of a case. Love you guys. It is a lot of madness in this case.
It really is.
And, I don't like to get into conspiracy. I'm not really the conspiracy person.
It's my favorite.
PJ's the conspiracy person. So if you're a conspiracy person, definitely get on the PJ train tonight.
There's a difference between conspiracy and when something is proven a fact, though.
It's been a very weird case. However, after 7 years, I believe I know why it's R.A. So she believes it's Richard Allen. A little bit different.
After I heard his confession, I actually started to second guess everything I've thought of, honestly.
I haven't. I just think he's crazy. So me and PJ may disagree on some of these things we're going to discuss here tonight. We don't share a brain. So sometimes we think a little bit different in true crime.
My brain's bigger.
Like Aunt Nancy, she believes everybody's guilty. Okay. Everybody's guilty as shit. Now, Dolly, I pretty much believe usually everybody's guilty too, but for some reason, I'm getting this vibe in this case that they're trying to put an innocent man that has mental health issues.
People are saying he's guilty. Deception detective thinks he's guilty.
Well, I'm not the detective.
I'm one of my favorite.
Okay. I know how crazy people think, and I don't think he did it because I've seen other people confess to murders they didn't commit, and he don't know enough of the details to know how these girls died.
How does the witness not say a short man? Exactly. And how does the witness say he's got curly, thick hair and that he's young and that he doesn't have blue eyes?
And the question is he the bridge guy?
No,
or is he not the bridge guy?
This is what another problem. They've eliminated the whole time we're looking for these sketches. This is the person we're looking for, right? That's no longer allowed. Forget it exists. Yeah. They're not showing it in the courtroom at all. Don't look at it. It's nothing to do with nothing.
And their video is 45 seconds long.
Okay? But it's looped. And it's AI edited.
It's looped. And not only that, but the bridge guy is farther than 45 seconds away on the bridge. And shortly after they show the bridge guy, you hear somebody say, girls down the hill. Almost like the person is right up on them.
Because he teleported.
He teleported. It's an interdimensional being that we're looking for, okay? It's not even a human.
But
okay?
They enhanced the video and they made sure, because if you know anything about Snapchat, it gets saved in a certain way. And I believe they said it was horizontal and vertical, and they had to combine them together to make one solid video.
You really can't make out the person.
And they AI interjected the editing in between to combine it to make it a whole video.
And why did this man have hair, but Richard Allen is a bald-headed man?
I noticed today it looked like there might have been a gun in his pocket.
People are saying that. You know, it could have just been he was happy to see somebody.
See, look, Nina said another thing.
I hate to say it, not a cover-up, police work, okay?
Inept police work. That's exactly what I said about the Karen Reed stuff, is that you can have bad police work and somebody be guilty all at the same time.
Well, Nina, when we open the phone lines, we definitely want to hear from you tonight if you think Richard Allen is guilty, because that leans against what I think. But, you know, the bullet being found between the girls, right, and they're saying that it matches Richard Allen's.
But then they couldn't replicate it until they fired the bullet.
Yeah, but it's an unfired bullet.
Right.
But they could get the same markings if they fired the bullet. But this wasn't a fired bullet. With them not firing the gun, they can't get the same markings, which to me makes zero sense. There's really no witnesses that witnessed Richard Allen.
No.
At all.
And
there's no DNA.
People, you know, it doesn't help that there's people involved in this case that said things to other people like, so if my saliva was possibly found on one of the victims, would that be detected if somebody did an analysis on the body?
And what about the picture that Brad Holder posted of look like bodies on the ground covered with sticks? I mean, there's strange things that's going on here. Now, I don't know who the killer is, right? I've always believed it to be Keegan Klein because he led these girls out to the train.
Right.
And so many people disagree with me on that. They're like, no, but he's just some weirdo that just happened to be talking to the girls, and then some other weirdos just happened to kill her, right? And then it's all around this pagan holiday, right? And then you got the dude in jail talking about odinism. It is the strangest.
Oh, and then the judge's attorney friend that she appointed instead of his own attorneys, he goes on record and does a public interview on the national news talking about how there is really an issue and that there are really guards wearing odinist patches. And then when they were reprimanded, they took their patches off because they were told they had to, but then they tattooed their eyelid or something. They tattooed their face with odinist symbols.
I'm starting to think that there's something going on that involves more than one person.
Yes.
You know, maybe they had the girls trapped. The bridge guy was coming this way, and the dude that said down the hill girls was coming from behind them. So they had nowhere to go. If they would have went forward, they would have ran into the guy that said down the hill. If they would have went back across the train tracks, they would have ran into the bridge guy. Now, for me, it seems so odd that two young women, young girls, 13 years old in teenage years, and would go on that bridge. It is so scary. I don't even know if I would cross it. There's no rails. There's gaps between the
That's 'cause
wood.
you're scared of everything.
I am scared of everything. I'm a big old sissy, right?
I told you, me and my friend Shayna have a bridge like that behind Thalia. There's not a huge, like, it's not up high, but it does go over water.
I grew up as a horror movie fan, and all horror movies start with some shit like this, right?
Yeah.
So my first instinct would be like, oh, hell no, this looks like something out of a horror movie. I didn't see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 through 30. You ain't getting me out there like that. Hell to the nah, right? Dolly know better. I'm like, oh, yeah, this shit smells all kind of serial killers. Now, who is the $1 million question? And right now, I don't think they got enough proof to convict Richard Allen fairly. And I mean, the biggest thing they're using is confessions, but you can go down to the street to a crazy homeless dude on the street and he'll say anything you want.
Especially if you keep him locked in a lighted at
And
all
drug him?
times room with drugs.
All right, you want to read that?
There has been an issue with Odins, who are a white supreme group. Then they wouldn't kill 2 little white girls. No.
Yeah, I mean,
I went down a rabbit hole today. It was a day of some type of sacrifice that day for their culture, according to what I found. And I mean, I don't know if that's just something you can Google and find any day of the year, of the week, or whatever. But at this point, I wouldn't put anything past anybody in this world. People get killed for less.
and here's the thing. After Richard Allen's allegedly supposed to kill these girls, he don't kill anybody else for 7 years.
And he doesn't leave.
And he don't leave.
He stays in the same state.
Yeah.
He keeps all of his weapons and all his knives and everything that
And he
he's
never
had.
shot anybody else. He never stabbed anybody else. It's like, usually when people kill, they continue to kill. Right?
Or they've done it before. But there's nothing really that ties back to him as a killer. And then when they search his house, he don't, like, Keegan Klein had all that child pee, the big exploitation of children on his computer, hundreds and hundreds of images. And he was Anthony Schatz, the account that Abby and Libby was talking to. So we already know they were talking to a predator. Yes.
Right? We know that. That's pretty much factual. And a lot of people don't believe that Keegan Klein has anything to do with this. But he is Anthony. They wanted to meet Anthony. They pretty much got catfished, but somebody else completely different kills them. And I don't believe in coincidences, like I said in the beginning of this. I just truly don't. I believe everything happens for a reason. And for some reason, they have to connect these people somehow, some way.
In order for it to make sense.
In order for it to make sense to me, right? And then, you take his confession. Was he interrupted? He was going to rape these girls, but
that's what he says allegedly. And that's another thing. This entire case, I've heard words like that might have been semen, but there's probably most likely semen, but they didn't find semen.
They would have tested that, just like they're arresting cases from 20 years ago because DNA. Miss Margaret says, "Who do you believe is the primary suspect?" Well, I'll let PJ answer for herself. Who do you think, PJ?
I believe that there's a bunch of different guilty people that all did it together. And I don't know how Richard Allen connects, but if we can connect him to some sort of Mason organization or Odinist or white supremacist or
a sex ring or something, maybe. Now, my number one suspect, and I don't know if he is Keegan Klein. I cannot get this man out of my mind. He's similar in stature to the bridge guy at the time that this happened 7 years ago. He's a big fat ass now, right? Fluffy. Let's say fluffy, right? He's a big fluffy guy. And at the time, though, 7 years ago when this happened, he was about the size of the bridge guy. And if we're looking at the bridge guy now, the bridge guy looks like he has a little bit of hair.
He does.
Okay?
I zoomed in.
A little more shaggy than me.
Yes.
And like, Richard Allen is pretty bald, and he looks like that shit shines like he's been bald for a good minute. Right. So I just don't think the bridge guy is Richard Allen. Could Richard Allen have been the one that came up from behind and said, "Girls down the hill"? Or was Richard Allen the bridge guy and he witnessed the crime? Okay. Because there was other girls, teenage girls in this area. Like, this is like the hangout in Indiana. Y'all need to build an arcade or some shit where the teenagers can hang out, because they're hanging out on a dangerous ass train trestle. Something is definitely wrong. Okay, something's wrong with this picture. Like, what do you want to do? I want to go hang out at this damn bridge that is absolutely deadly. Now they've rebuilt it. They put up side rails and things where you can't just fall right off the bridge, because I think the bridge is starting to become a little bit of a tourist attraction for true crime enthusiasts.
I saw a comment that I really wanted to address about how people that don't see that he's actually guilty or crazy or stupid or something, now I can't find it because my chat won't go to all chat.
Rachel just jumped on the train with us. Do you want to read it?
I think that's Raquel.
Oh, Raquel. I ain't got my glasses. That's why I asked you.
I don't understand. They pinned it on RA. What are they saying his motive was? Did he just happen to cross paths with them? They're saying he was sexually into young girls, apparently.
Yeah, that he had planned on going out there.
And that he was disrupted by a van/man.
Yeah, which makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. If he
he didn't do it, but it possibly had.
He had all this time.
Yeah,
he had all this time to take the girl's clothes off, right? Put the
Redress
clothes,
them.
on another girl, but he didn't have time to sexually assault the girls. It wasn't about sexual assault, right? Sometimes these killers get their rocks off by actually killing you. That is what does it for them. It ain't the act of sex. Now, there is sexual predators, and then there's predators that their murder is sexually oriented. Even Ted Bundy didn't have, you know what I'm saying? He just kill you. That's how he kind of got his kicks, was this unaliving your ass, right?
Yeah, someone said it was the dude.
Same thing with TBK. Or BTK, is it BTK? BTK, right? Bind, torture, and kill. Some of them just like to hurt people. But this person had plenty of time, right? They had plenty of time to undress the girl. And usually if you're just going to rape somebody, you would just, a lot of times just pull their pants down, do what you're going to do. You wouldn't take all their clothes off. You wouldn't dress the other girl. That's where it starts to get bizarre. He had time to stage the scene, put sticks over things and stuff like that, but he didn't have time to sexually assault the girls.
There, I found the account. The account is under an account called Tiger Shark Diver. Richard, same time, place, 40 cal round, admitted 61 times. Van description, only the killer would know. Missing phone from that day. He's getting convicted no matter what RA groupies think. I don't care that much, but
yeah, I'm definitely not an RA groupie.
See, this is what I mean. People get so.
I would say I'm a Delphi enthusiast, okay? Because I've been, watching this case for 7 years. The whole 7 years I've been, keeping an eye on this case, and I didn't just start following it the day when it got popular, right? I was following it way back into when the state police came out and said they were looking for Anthony Schatz. And then when they found out who Anthony Schatz was, I was following it all through Keegan Klein's confessions that the murder sheet brought out that says he was talking to the Murder Sheet podcast. Shout out to them. Good job on finding those records of where he actually confessed to talking to Abby and Libby and leading them to this place, right? So a lot of people have done a lot of excellent work.
And that's just the other comment I was reading. It says, so obvious Richard Allen did it. People that don't think so are brainwashed by YouTubers working with defense.
Now, here's the thing. I don't personally, when I watch YouTube, I don't watch a whole lot of true crime. I watch weird stuff on YouTube. Like I watch the UFC. I watch stuff on Repo and Sheds and stupid stuff. I don't watch a whole lot of true crime people because I believe a lot of true crime people up here are fake as shit. Okay,
Tiger, be nice and chat,
there's
please.
Only a few good true crime YouTubers that
we just don't have time to sit around and watch all
trauma,
that.
right? Because a lot of stuff on YouTube is trauma channels, so I don't really watch those channels. So I don't watch a lot of true crime. I'll probably watch a few good YouTubers that stick to true crime and they don't bring in a lot of the drama or talking about this other YouTuber and that YouTuber. I'll watch a couple of those, but I don't watch it like full time. I watch other things on YouTube. So I'm not brainwashed by anybody. I don't have a dog in this fight. Whoever gets convicted gets convicted.
I like to look at stuff like, what if it was me? And if it was me and I was put away in a prison without having the ability to turn a light off or be alone all the time like he was, even if I was guilty, I would still feel like I would deserve a fair trial.
The knife acts like a what does that say?
Pee-pee. Weenie.
Like a BK in the Idaho 4 allegedly. Thank you, man. Thank you for jumping on the train with us, guys. That is absolutely awesome of you. Nina, you don't have to super chat everything you say. You want the phone lines open, yeah, because it says when we get to a certain amount of super chats, we will open the phone lines.
She's working on making that happen. 5 more.
27 years of true crime here. Love you guys. Now listen.
And see, that account is arguing with somebody in chat. We really aren't into arguing it
yes,
like that.
Guys.
Please don't.
If you're an adult, which we should all be adults here, we've looked at our analytics. Kids don't watch us. So we're all adults here. And if you don't agree with somebody, then you can agree to disagree, but there's no need to fight or start name calling or calling people stupid or anything like that, because everybody's entitled to their opinion. That's what makes this discussion platform so good, is we're not an echo chamber. You don't have to believe what I believe. PJ don't believe what I believe. So we like to keep it open to hear your thoughts and in your opinions on this, because we could be wrong and you could be right. We're trying to get to the bottom of it by being adults and discussing what is going on in the case. Okay. And like I said, there's a lot of moving pieces in this case. And if you came onto it and you're just repeating something you heard from another YouTuber, that's fine. But you got to remember, don't take anything as fact, right? Unless you were there and for certain. You got to keep an open mind to any possibility. Melanie.
Now the chat. Go ahead.
What was you going to say?
Thank
you, Melanie.
The chat is going back and forth asking each other whether they would allow RA to watch their children. And then someone responded and said, hell, would you let anyone in the prosecution side watch your kids? I wouldn't let no strangers in any of these cases watch my child.
I believe Richard Allen has mental health problems, so definitely wouldn't let him watch my kid.
Now, I don't know him like that. I wouldn't let him watch my kid.
Is he a murderer? I don't know, but he's saying he
could be.
Right? So that ain't a good sign. There's definitely something cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs with him. But just because you cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs don't make you a killer. Just because you said you killed somebody don't make you a killer. Right? There has to be some proof. And you would think there's no perfect crime, right? No perfect crime. No. So you're going to leave clues. You're going to make mistakes. DNA, eyewitnesses, things like that. And
they're alleging that the reason there isn't any, or the reason that they couldn't find the semen, the whatever, is that the girls were rinsed off.
I truly believe that could have something to do with it too.
You tell me how easy it would be for let's say your size, because he was about your height. Actually, he was shorter than you, and I believe the same size. But Libby was 200 pounds. How much do you think that weighs dead weight?
That's pretty heavy. Yeah.
So you're telling me he's small. He's maneuvering around two separate girls. One is 200 pounds dead weight. On top of that, I just don't see it. And then getting them from point A to point B.
There didn't seem to be drag marks or blood.
There wasn't.
So to think he had to deadlift 200 pounds, right? Could I pick up 200 pounds? I don't think I could. I'm not dead weight, not moving around like that.
Right.
I couldn't. You know what I'm saying? Or if I did try to scoop somebody up like that, it'd be really hard.
I think there's at minimum somebody else is involved, and if you can't.
Now, two people could have easily moved them without drag marks and things like that. And like from what the video shows, it almost appears to be two different people. Because like I said, if you run across that train tracks, right, you would fall in the gaps in between the rails. So each step that the bridge guy took, which, people were talking about how he walked, but
that was a looped.
It's looped. It's only one. He only takes one step, so you really can't tell.
It wasn't even a full step. Almost, it was like he just went to step, and then they re-looped it. So he's looking like he's going like this.
Yeah, it looks like he's kind of waddling or moving funny. But really, that's because they looped the video. And not only that, they enhanced the video so much you can't even really tell if that's his hair, if he's wearing a hat, right? It's
AI.
If he got a gun in his pocket.
It kind of looks like he does.
If he got a damn banana in his pocket. But listen, so the amount of the time that the video was, the guy didn't have enough time to cross the bridge. But the voice came up and said, girls down the hill like if he was
Right
standing
there.
right beside him.
But they said they enhanced that. So some people that heard the original audio didn't even hear that in the beginning. They had to enhance the audio for you to properly hear it.
Yeah, down the hill. And then, you know, I mean, I don't know.
I just can't believe they can do that for somebody to be locked up. Just make all these AI corrections to a video that supposedly happened the way they're claiming it.
Well, you know, with technology these days, they can make me be the bridge guy.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They can make a video of me
scary.
walking out and me never do it and just pose my face onto a video. Y'all seen that refacers? Have y'all seen that online where you can take somebody else's body and put your face on it, and then whatever they're doing, it has your face? That is spooky. Okay, because
they call those deep fakes now.
Deep fakes, okay, the deep fake. Right now, Dolly ain't been on that bridge. I'm just saying that they got the technology to fucking make whoever they want commit the crime.
That's why I don't believe nothing.
You know, you always hear that don't believe what you hear and only half of what you see. I'm one of those people that say don't believe nothing you hear and nothing you see, because a lot of this shit we see now is smoke and mirrors, right? And they seem determined to convict this guy no matter what. If we're right, even if I'm wrong and he is the killer, that they don't care. This dude's going to prison no matter what.
He's already been.
He's already been. Yeah, he's already.
In a breakfast
Who
there.
do they chain up like Hannibal Lecter? Listen, there's a lot of people that get murdered in this world that get treated a lot better. You know, the murderers get treated a lot better than Richard Allen has.
Danny's having a better time than he is.
You know, when he was in there crazy, look, there's a lot of shit you can fake, but he was eating his own feces. You can't fake that.
Yeah, that psychiatrist tried to say he was doing that for attention today.
He was eating his own doo-doo for attention. That don't happen. Okay. Listen, I'm an attention whore. That's why I got YouTube. And I ain't eating my own doo-doo. I don't care how many clicks, likes, views.
He was drinking toilet water.
Yeah, no way in hell. Right? I'd take the murder charge first. I'd be like, execute me, bitches. I ain't eating no doo-doo. Right? I ain't drinking no piss. I ain't eating no doo-doo. That ain't happening. Go ahead and strap me into the chair before you think any of that's going down. So he has been, and you know, of course, you add them drugs that they're giving them, and block you in a cell. And we know, look, there's been so many studies about being in solitary confinement making people go crazy. Cabin fever, The Shining, right? Everybody's known for a long time. I didn't make up the word cabin fever. Look it up. Cabin fever. You get in a cabin by yourself for too long, you will go insane. You will start talking to volleyballs like damn Tom Hanks. Okay. That shit is real. Like, we are creatures of like socializing. Look at how much everybody uses social media, right? That shows you right there that our beings are meant to socialize with each other. We're not meant to be locked in a cage by ourselves. It'll make you insane. And if he wasn't insane, they made him go insane. Yeah. So
either by his environment and also possibly by his antipsychotics, he was being injected. I did listen
forcefully.
I did listen to JLR today. It was really disturbing. He was put in solitary one time, and he said he did a 90-day refusal to eat. A trigger warning. Then he described how they inserted the tubes in his nose to force feed him food, and I can't see how that's humane. I mean, of course you've got to eat to be alive. So I get that. But the other parts of it, the part of where they don't turn the lights off for you, like you're constantly like under like a spotlight almost, and then you're just it's like torture.
It's worse than Guantanamo Bay. Okay?
Right.
It's worse than the cock meat sandwich.
You might as well waterboard these people.
Yeah. Angelina says, wasn't there talk about outlawing AI? I mean, I don't know,
I'm sure,
but I know this. I cannot buy a Tesla robot because PJ says I can't have one. Okay.
Who's controlling it?
She said that the Tesla robot will kill me and I can't have one.
I said I don't trust it, and who controls it?
Pink says choo choo, Dolly and PJ. She's jumping on both the trains, right?
We share a train.
But we on different carts.
No, we're not. Okay?
The Dolly cart, like
you're on a cart with me.
We get down on my train booths, right? So let us know, is the party over here or is the party over there? Who you rocking with tonight? That's the question, okay? So anyway, yeah, I think that the man's crazy. And if you told him, if you went to him right now and said the girls were strangled, right? He would come out and confess that he strangled these girls to death. All right.
Because he's at a point of where he's been locked in confinement and he's wanting to get out of that. So he's going to do what he needs to in order to get out of that situation. What if he thought like, hey, if I confess, they might just let me out and go into general population?
Or he wanted somebody to talk to, and he will say anything that has to be said for somebody to pay him some attention because he's locked in a box.
Right.
With nobody to talk to. Look, you know, let me go back to The Shining. You put a person by themselves, they are going to go insane. Here's Dolly, right? That's why I come up here and talk to everybody so I don't go absolutely crazy. Now, everybody wants us to take calls, but we were going to kick into this Nancy video for a few minutes, right?
Yeah, because we have 4 more to meet our goal, and then you have to turn the phone line on.
Oh, yeah, so 4 more. Let's play it. All right, let's share this video.
And she doesn't think like we do, so this is going to be different.
Yeah, but she believes Richard Allen is guilty. Let's share this video. Let's blow it up. Let's get into it.
To the killer who may be in this room, we believe you are hiding in plain sight. You never thought we would shift gears to a different investigative strategy, but we have. We know that this is about power to you, and you want to know what we know. And one day, you will.
You don't have to.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nancy Grace outside the courthouse in Delphi. Thank you for joining us here. Cheryl McCollum, Susan and I were sitting side by side in the courtroom all day, and a lot came out from this one psychologist who was very unfamiliar with her notes. But that said, her notes were invaluable. She did a fantastic job documenting what was happening every time she saw Richard Allen. She really did a good job on that.
Fan.
We learned, and this is before, and Susan, jump in if I'm wrong, before it came out, Cheryl, we learned that Richard Allen had confessed to having a gun, targeting the 2 girls, hearing a male approach. I couldn't tell if it was in a car or not, covering their bodies with branches, intending to rape them. We now know they were naked. That wasn't released.
Only one of them was.
He talked about cutting their throats. We didn't know.
So Nancy is a little bit off.
She's very off because we did know all that. That stuff started coming out. Anybody that was following in the groups, that stuff started coming out little by little, but we knew all of that.
Jax popped in and said, popping in to say I'm on the train, going to bed. Okay. All right, get in the back of booze. You can sleep back there. This is the late night train.
I wish I was on.
Okay, so the bodies wasn't covered in branches.
No.
They were staged with branches on top of them. They wasn't actually even trying to conceal the bodies.
No, it's not like he hid them underneath a pile of freaking branches.
Yeah, and Jax has donated 5 memberships.
Thank you, Jax.
So make sure you thank Jax, give him a big hug, all that stuff for hooking you up with a free membership. He's working hard for his money, so make sure you show some love. Big virtual hugs. Yeah, so Nancy's a little bit off. Only one of them was nude. The other one was wearing 2 sets of clothes. So, which is strange.
It's very
and if
strange.
anything, the bodies were positioned with the branches in a ritualistic. What's the word?
Ritualistic.
A ritualistic.
You said it right.
Okay. Type manner. All right.
He didn't just slew the freaking
he
branches.
didn't pile leaves over them and stuff like that. He wasn't trying to hide the bodies. And they're acting like a van or a man came by. I don't believe that to be the case whatsoever. He had plenty of time. He had enough time to put the clothes on the other girl. He had plenty of time if he was going to sexually assault the girl to do that. I don't believe this had anything to do with a crime of sex unless it was he got his rocks off by hurting people. More of a sadist kind of killing.
Thank you,
49ers girl just gifted 1 membership. Thank you, 49ers girl. So let's get through this. Let's keep it rolling so we can get the phone call.
We didn't know that the perp had a gun. We didn't know that their throats were cut. We didn't know that they were.
We did know that their throats were cut and the blood was drained from her. We knew that.
She's about to fly away. She's like,
images
Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore.
Crime scene people had leaked what had went on a long time ago. I'm talking years ago. People knew about the branches on top of them. They knew that the scene was staged. They knew that the girl was naked. So this ain't new. This ain't new information.
See, this is still sexually motivated. Yes. I agree.
I mean, it may be sexually motivated in the he gets off on hurting people.
Yeah,
But
that's what a sadist is.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to actually physically, sexually assault the girls. I don't think it was about that. If he wanted to, he had plenty of time to, and they would have discovered DNA, okay, like they have in every other case.
Right.
One totally undressed, both of them totally undressed at one point. He says his intent was to rape them. He explains that away by saying his, quote, his problem, that's what he's calling it, started when he molested his sister when he was younger. I mentioned the branches. He revealed so much that had not been made public, Cheryl.
That's not true. Nancy, I love you to death. You're my favorite aunt, and you are the GOAT of true crime. But that is absolutely not true.
Right.
All this stuff had leaked so long ago. We've been talking about it.
We've been talking about it
before the trial even started. These facts, right?
That's why I'm confused as to what she's referring to. And then she says the part about his problem. I read
now that's
so
new.
many.
I didn't know he allegedly had molested his sister.
He claims he was that at childhood, but then the whole story was he went to go see his parents that day. We'll get to that, but it's like, are there any corroborating witnesses to that? Like, where's his sister? Can we?
Yeah.
Like, do we just
exactly
say what we want to about anybody, and then they just don't have any?
And this is coming from a doctor that was in Facebook groups watching
fangirl and YouTubers,
fangirl and YouTubers, and talking about what YouTube channel she watches. So she's already been painted a narrative from another YouTuber. Not even her own medical profession is coming to her conclusions. She's coming to the conclusions that she heard on YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
someone said they heard Nancy was in the courtroom for all of 15 minutes. It wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, Nancy has a lot of awesome people that work with Nancy that help her. It ain't just Nancy, right? These people need to do a little bit better, right? Like sometimes
the judge got upset, and they started a little bit late from what I read in the Cliff Notes, and basically there was an extra security threat or warning from the judge because there was a celebrity in their presence. So it wouldn't surprise me.
We'll help you out, Nancy. Anytime you need a little help, you just call Dolly up and look, I'll make sure you write about everything. I have BJ fact check it so we know, right? And you won't get up there and you won't spread information that ain't true.
Tiger Shark, I'm going to give you this one response because you're really, really starting to get on my nerves. He says, RA supporters, give evidence about anyone else, please. What about the guy, I think it was Elvis, that said, hey, if they test the bodies of the girls and they find spit there, I might have possibly spit on one of the girls. Is that going to freaking prove that I'm guilty? Explain that. I don't see what you're calling evidence as for hard evidence on RA. We're not RA groupies. We're not RA supporters.
What about all the people that just make up shit so they have something to talk about? You don't act like that don't happen. People come up, I've seen this, I've seen that, and they didn't see shit. But they'll say they did just so they can get on the news or be relevant or have something to say. Mary Ann, thank you so much for your super sticker. So yeah, we got to make sure Nancy's right. Okay. We got to make sure she's right. She's the GOAT. But definitely only one of the girls were nude. All right. And we knew about them, how they died for a good while. We knew about the sticks way before this trial started. We knew how the bodies were posed, right? We knew all these things. If I knew it, right, then, and I'm an idiot. Okay. But Nancy, I need a job. Okay, so if you need somebody to help you out, hit up Dolly. Dolly, love you to death. Okay, and I'll make sure you on point. I'll make sure you're on point. Aussie True Crime, hi Dolly, and beautiful PJ. Hey.
He said things only the killer would know. He said branches, not twigs, not sticks, but long branches. He said he had a gun. Leggett testified that on the video, you can hear a gun racket.
You cannot hear it.
That's right.
Yeah, I've never heard that either. You can hear the gun rack. Well, if it racked on the video, that means the bullet would have ejected
right then and there
on the trestle, not between their bodies, a quarter mile down in the woods, right? So that don't make any sense right there. Think about it. If you heard the gun rack, that means When you
That's
rack
where
that gun, it's going
that's
to
what he
eject the bullet
allegedly
that's
confessed
chambered.
to. That's what he allegedly confessed to.
It's wrong. His confession is wrong. He also confessed to shooting the girls, and they were never shot. He never knew how them girls died until he had information the lawyers were bringing him.
Right.
Then he took the story and it changed, right? And I don't know. I think we got a confession from a crazy man, right? That he has mental illness.
Well, he wanted out of the solitary confinement. I could totally see, and that's what JLR said, and he had the experience of being in the same position, but I can totally see it, because if you're in solitary confinement and somebody's there telling you, hey, just tell me you did it, we'll let you out, you can go hang out with the general population, you just need to fess up. And then if you're sitting there by yourself 24/7, I guarantee you at some point, I don't know how long it would take me, because I didn't do nothing like that, and I would never.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that don't add up. The bridge guy is too far away for me to say girls down the hill. If they say and they hear a gun chamber, right? How the hell are you going to hear that? Right? They couldn't even make out what he said.
Yeah.
Right? Until it was enhanced. But you expect me to believe they heard a gun chamber. And if the gun would have chambered, the bullet would have been on the train trussel, not a half mile down the road. Right? So that makes zero
enhanced
sense.
The video, which that makes it hard to believe anything.
Hold on. You just reminded me of something, Cheryl, and I thank you. Hearing the gun rack. I mean, that corroborates finding the bullet there.
No, it don't, Nancy. If he racked the gun during the video, the bullet would have been at the train trussel, not a quarter mile down the stream, okay? The bullet will eject when he racks the gun, not... Why, if he racked the gun, right? If he chambered the gun, why would he chamber it again in the woods?
He wouldn't know where's that bullet.
Yeah.
That would be a bullet there and a bullet here and a bullet everywhere. Anytime he racks it and loses
if it was loaded. So if he racked it the first time, he would have loaded the gun. Why would he re-rack the gun in the middle of the woods if the gun is already chambered? There's no need to.
No.
And if it was already chambered when he racked it, it would have ejected the bullet out on the trussels. So the whole bullet thing almost sounds like a frame job. You know what I'm saying? I hate to say it. Some people I'll be like, listen, if this was me, I would want people to prove without a shadow of doubt, especially because I would be innocent, how this could have happened. Right? I would want that explanation. You don't believe the girls, aka Libby and Abby?
We never heard the girls speak. What do you mean?
Yeah, what is there to believe about the girls? I believe they seen somebody they thought was strange, and they pulled out their phone and they started videotaping it.
They did a Snapchat video. We don't even know what they said. We don't know what exactly was shown in the video. We know there was the video. We know the video was altered to make it fit together into one video. They had to enhance the sound. They had to enhance it to get it to fit together properly. I'm sorry. If it was me and I was on trial, I would want somebody to question that. And that's not coming from the girls directly.
Yeah, I mean, I pray for justice for Abby and Libby for sure. But you know me, I believe in capital punishment, and I believe if you did it, you should pay with your life. But at the same time, I don't want a mental ill man to go to prison for possibly a crime he didn't commit unless you can prove that he did it. Now, there's a lot of reasonable doubt, right? And if you can clear up that reasonable doubt, I would say, yeah, let's lock this man under the prison. He's the worst of the worst. But right now, there's so much reasonable doubt.
Hope said it in the very beginning. He was interrogated several times. They played that for the jury yesterday, and he said every time, "You're not going to make me the guilty of this crime that I didn't do." And he said, "I didn't do it." If you want to count how many times he said he didn't do it before he got into the position where he was in solitary confinement on drugs and in the state he was in. I mean, I guarantee you it's probably doubled the 60.
And you know, my biggest thing is who goes to prison before they're found guilty of a crime.
And that's what makes it crazy to me is that they tried to portray it as it was for his own safety. Like they couldn't house him in just the regular jail solitary. He had to go to prison where they they kept him locked up like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, like Hannibal damn Lecter.
And even his lawyer, the one that was appointed by the judge, that was friendly with the judge and working with the judge, even he said it wasn't usual for him to go visit his client and for him to have to slip him the paper through the 2-inch door to get him to sign or read a paper over with him. And he said that they couldn't talk in private and they had somebody recording. Isn't that against the Constitution?
He's locked so far up the psychiatrist can't even hear what he's saying.
Yeah.
She couldn't tell if it was car, van, man, whatever. Because he's locked in a box.
I think that was just in the court. They couldn't hear whoever was talking in the court. That it was either van or man.
Well, we know a van didn't drive through the woods. Okay.
I don't know if there's a house that a van pulled up to and came home from work or something on. I don't know the scenery.
Maybe Ron Logan, but if I remember correctly, Ron Logan had a suspended driver's license. He was driving a pickup truck.
Not a van.
Not a van.
Okay, well then I don't know what that was.
And no, when he racked the gun, he released a bullet. So, to Susan Hendricks, can you hear a gun racking in the video the girls took?
Yes, 100%. Absolutely.
What? Describe it.
That's when you hear that's the gun. You hear, but you absolutely hear the gun.
And see,
what do you mean you can hear the gun? Hear the gun do what?
Do that sound. Shh. Like the end, Detective Holman held up the gun and did it in court 2 days ago. Like, shh, and it was frightening to the jury.
Frightening.
Okay, I finally got that out of Susan Hendricks. Remember, I'm a JD, not a DDS. I don't know how to pull a tooth. But I can declare you a hostile witness and cross-examine you, but you know that. Joining me right now is Dr. Mark Mirabello. He is a professor emeritus of history, Shawnee State University, and author of the Odin Brotherhood. Dr. Mark Mirabello, the defense has tried and tried. They've been rebuffed about bringing in the theory that Odinists did these murders. Odinists represent Norse, they worship Norse gods like Thor. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing. Apparently it is, according to your book, The Odin Brotherhood. But how could the defense, Dr. Mark Mirabello, spin the fact that these girls were stripped naked, they were murdered by slashing their throats, they were left out in a wooded area and then covered in branches? How does that in any way indicate?
See, covered in branches, when they wasn't covered in branches, they were staged with branches. Okay. If you notice, one of them was X'd across her arms. The other one was posed in a position with her arm.
She looked
up.
like I could go get my tarot deck. She looked like the hanging man, the tarot, the way that her stance
They're
was.
acting like they were covered with them, like they were all over their body, and it wasn't the case. I mean, it's bad. It's the wording. Covered is not the case.
No.
They wasn't covered in branches. Okay.
They had two or three of them on them, not like
they were
covered
staged.
is like where you barely see your skin because
Yeah.
you're covered.
Because you're covered. Yeah, and it wasn't covered. They were staged with branches. It was definitely a staged crime scene. They were positioned. So. Okay. It's the wording she's using that's kind of deceptive and it's pushing a narrative that he tried to hide these girls. They were never hidden. Okay. If he was going to hide them, he could have did a lot better job hiding the girls than leaving them just laying there. Okay. I believe somebody took a picture of this. I believe that's why they staged the scene, and it was to take a picture. And we know killers, they like to take souvenirs. Okay. And that souvenir may have just as easily been a picture. And then, there's other people out there that were posting pictures that were similar to how they were staged.
One of them was Abby's boyfriend's daddy.
Yeah. So it gets a little weird. It gets a little bit all over the place.
Odinism, because the defense has not given up. They're still trying through lines of cross-examination to establish enough facts to bring in Odinism. They're still trying. So how does that equal Odinism, Mark?
I've studied Odinism for over 30 years, and I've never witnessed a sacrifice of animals or humans. First of all, I noticed there's a lot of confusion over this issue. In Great Britain, they're called Odinists. In the United States, the most common name is Asatru. And for some reason in America, some academics and scholars and hate watch groups seem to associate the radical behavior with Odinist only, which is frankly not true. You can get the Asatru Alliance, Asatru Folk Assembly, which are really conservative.
Okay,
now,
we're going to open the phone lines
killing or
now.
sacrifice.
We've reached our goal.
The difference is the extreme left
No, we didn't.
will have black members.
3.
They'll have
We're
gay
3 away
marriages.
from our goal.
And on the
Okay,
extreme
so-
right, they're opposed to gay marriages. They're opposed to gay sex, generally speaking. And by the way, they view Odinism as an ethnic movement, much as Shinto is for Japan, and also as Voodoo is for Haiti. A lot of Voodoo practitioners object to Caucasians telling their secrets. So again, they don't do these violent things. And I remember saying before, and I'll just try to be really brief on this, given their interest in, frankly, white people, the radical Odinist on the right, there is no way, absolutely no way, they would kill 2 white girls. Again, I've said this many times. There were, they say, not that it's true, but they say 8% of the human race is white.
Well, when you say you wouldn't kill white girls, would you kill Latino girls? Would you kill black girls? That's like saying you would kill people, but just not white people.
There was a rumor that Abby's mom was dating interracially and that they were upset over that, but that was a rumor. I didn't believe any of that. And there was a comment here how I wanted to actually go. The owner of the van was on the stand today. Hidden True Crime reported on her live earlier. That was the man that looked quite similar to the bridge guy. Another one.
Yeah,
There's just so many people around this area that all wear that same style of hat.
Anybody does this, looks down and puts their hands in their pocket, looks like the bridge guy. I mean,
and he was the one that got there at the same time that all of this occurred, which would make him possibly a suspect also.
Too, yeah.
It's weird.
Are women of potential childbearing age, and there is no way they would kill 2 white girls. They believe they have to save the white race. It's becoming extinct. And again, if they kill anybody, it would be what they call a race traitor. That's a white woman dating a non-white man. So there's nothing in Odinism that would justify this. And I'm not trying to get the fellow involved.
He just said they wouldn't kill anybody, but then if it was a race
nothing
traitor.
in Odinism that would include the murder of 2 little girls, especially the murder of 2 little white girls, or the sacrifice of these girls.
Dr. Mark Mirabello, that's more than I could ever have imagined. I did not want to interrupt you. I wanted to hear every word of that. Other than the branches and apparently twigs in the girl's hair, at one point it was argued that there was a letter, I think it was an F as in Frank, on a tree. That blood marking turned out to be a transfer. I just don't see how they can establish this far-fetched theory of Odinism. And, you know, Eric Faddis, I keep seeing online, hey, dummy, the judge overruled Odinism. It can't come in. But that hasn't stopped the defense from asking.
I agree with you that they wasn't trying to hide the bodies. They staged the bodies.
Right.
They were positioned. The branches were placed. They wasn't trying to cover them up with branches.
That's why they weren't covered with twigs.
It's definitely a staged crime scene, right? That's what Nancy should be reporting, not that they tried to hide the bodies. She's making it sound like he tried to hide the bodies because a van was coming. But he had time to take the girl's clothes off, put them on another girl, place the branches. Nobody still didn't see him. So we really don't know how long the perpetrator was there. Right? We just know how long it took them to find the girls. So he could have been there any amount of time up until that because nobody ever seen him. There's no witness to this crime.
No.
Questions to support answers that they believe will build a foundation, Eric, to convince the judge to allow in Odinism. They're doing it on cross-examination with some of the witnesses.
Now, I don't know if this, like the viewer said, I don't know if this is cult related either. Right? I don't know that to be the case. Just because they had some branches on them.
They can't connect them all to a cult. So
I mean,
we have no way to confirm it is or isn't.
It seems more likely that
strange.
It was more than one person.
the scene looks strange, no matter how if it's cult or religious or whatever they called it. It looks strange.
Yeah,
the scene that was depicted, and it was a person that drew it from the courtroom photographs that came out a couple days ago.
Where can I find the leaked crime photos, please? Well, there's a lot of drawings.
I never saw the leaked crime photos.
I never seen a leak. I've seen the drawings of the crime scene.
They just did that again the other day because they had the testimony. But I know that it was alleged that they were leaked, and that guy offed himself. That's why they got rid of the first set of lawyers, because it was somebody that worked within their lawyer organization that had allegedly leaked the images of the crime scene.
Yeah, but the ones they have released to the public are just drawings of the crime scene.
Right, because the people in the courtroom are not allowed to show the actual photographs.
That leaked 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That leaked years ago with the drawings of how they were placed and how they thought it was a cult crime because of how they were placed.
I mean, I can't imagine you go there as a detective on scene and see what you see and don't think, hey, I need to talk to somebody about this. It doesn't look right. It just doesn't look right. They didn't just.
What do you think about that, Eric?
Oh, sorry. One thing I think is that a lot of people believe Judge Miller has been pretty hostile towards the defense, excluding this odinism defense in its entirety, which some people think is a heavy-handed ruling. You know, and listening to the other expert, the KKK lynched white people too, even though they were aligned with white people as racial extremists. So I don't think that rules out the possibility of this odinist sacrifice involving two young white girls. These defense attorneys are simply trying to advocate for their client, put forth a reasonable, plausible, alternative explanation, which I think.
All right.
Strange man.
All right. Yeah, he's saying that odinism could have killed.
Eric Faddis, are you familiar with a line of cases?
Okay, let's open up the phone lines. Let's go ahead and hear from the people. Let's hear what they think tonight about what is going on. Is Richard Allen innocent? Is he guilty? Did odinism do it? Did somebody else do it? Who is the bridge guy? Is the bridge guy the killer? Or is he just wanted to kill him? Dolly, PJ.
Dolly, what's up? It's Richard.
What up, Richard?
Hey, man, I'm so torn on this thing because you know how they say the bullet. That's the first thing I have to say. Well, say he ejected that bullet, reached down, picked it up, carried it down there with him, and accidentally dropped it. That's one thing I thought about because it could happen. I've done it 100 times, dropped the bullet, injected the bullet out, and picked it up, put it in my pocket or whatever.
You do that all the time, Richard? Really?
We got to watch you. Now
you just accidentally drop your bullets all around.
I hunt a lot. So
with a pistol?
I deer hunt, I bird hunt, I duck hunt.
With a pistol?
It happens. But I always pick them up. That's what I was thinking. Maybe
how many people hunt with a pistol, Richard?
I hunt rattlesnakes with a pistol all the time.
Okay. All right.
I mean, down here in Texas, everybody carries guns.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but most hunters are carrying rifles.
Well, no, not always. That's the deer hunting, yeah, but it depends on what you're hunting. You're hunting hogs. If we're hunting hogs or dogs, that's all we carry is pistols and a knife. That's it.
Okay.
So it just depends on what you're hunting. You know what I mean? But I don't know about that. I still don't think he looks like the bridge guy. I give it that. I think it was probably 2 or 3 people. I'm not saying he wasn't there, but I don't really think it's him. I think they just tagged him from the beginning and just said, hey, you're guilty, and stuck him in there. That's what I think. They railroaded him, basically.
I'm thinking so.
Because they don't know who it is. They don't know who did it. That's the damn problem.
Yeah.
It would have been easier to pinpoint Keegan Klein to it, though.
Somebody did this, killed him, and then came back later and did everything else. I thought about that, too.
I'm one of those people that believe this. If you can't connect Richard Allen to Keegan Klein, then you need to let him go.
I agree. I think it's the guy you're talking about, Klein. I think it was him and maybe 1 or 2 other people.
I think it was him and his daddy.
I think they killed him and then came back and did what they were going to do later.
There wasn't that much time.
That's a big scene.
Yeah, because they started searching pretty quickly.
They started searching almost when they realized.
Yeah, but they didn't search that area. They were way on the other side, right?
Well, they were, a quarter mile?
Yeah.
They were a quarter mile from the bridge, and they started searching. They didn't find them for a good while, but they started searching pretty quickly.
A day later?
Yeah, but didn't they search on the opposite side of the bridge first?
They were searching all around the bridge.
Yeah, but think about it.
In both directions.
I thought it was 1 mile.
No, it was a little over a quarter mile.
Okay, quarter mile is a long way when you're in thick brush, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how thick it was there. I don't know. I haven't really followed this case, but I mean, it depends on how far back in there they were and how long did they search. Did they search the entire night, or did they just search for a few hours quick and resume the next morning?
No, I think they searched throughout the night, and they were found early the following morning.
Yeah, that wouldn't be possible probably then. This depends. I don't know how it was a thought. I was thinking maybe they did this and then came back and did what they were going to do, but maybe not. You know, those crazy people that do that ritual stuff do it at night, right? Like Louisiana State, you know, they kill the chickens, but that's all at night.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it was actually a ritual killing or if it was two people, you know, because one person's walking, okay? And we got to make this make sense. He's crossing that bridge. He's looking down. You can tell that you got to watch your step on that bridge or you could fall and you fall off the bridge. So bridge guy's looking down at every step he takes, so he makes sure he steps on the wood beams because there's gaps between it where your leg could go between it and break your fucking leg, right?
Yeah.
So he's over 45 seconds away from the girls when we see him in the video. He's a pretty good distance. But then right after that, you hear the guy go, "Girls down the hill." How did that man make it across the bridge and up to them that quick?
No damn way. No damn way he did. That'd take way more than 45 seconds.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why the video.
But I think he was the decoy. I think they were looking at him and not knowing who was behind them.
I think they had the girls trapped. Somebody came up from behind them, and he was coming up from the front where they didn't have nowhere to go.
That's right, because they couldn't run across the bridge. But you know, that one was an athlete. You would think but if it's two, they probably had a hold of one. But that makes sense to me. But if it was one of those, that athlete girl that played volleyball, she would have ran.
And here's the thing. We know that at that time frame, Keegan was hanging out with his daddy, and his daddy was just as creepy as him.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
And that's why
how big was this guy, though? How big was this guy? Keegan
was the size of the bridge guy at the time this happened. Keegan's gained a lot of weight since then. Okay.
Okay, I get it then. Yeah, that makes more sense. And because the bridge guy doesn't look like Alan.
When he confessed to talking to Abby and Libby, they asked him, they said, "Has anybody else got access to your computers and your phone?" And he said, "Yeah, my dad." His dad was living with him at the time. Then they went to Vegas, was picking up prostitutes, right? So I'm believing him and his dad was in this together. And what a lot of these people are ruling out that are blaming Richard Allen is after that, okay, Keegan Klein also talked to another girl that was Abby and Libby's friend, right? That girl, he was talking to him about Abby, and she was talking to Keegan Klein about Abby and Libby being missing. And then she comes home and gets off the school bus, and there's a man with a black ski mask on at her bedroom window, and she runs. Okay?
Oh my God.
So if Richard Allen is the bridge guy, who is the guy that's at this little girl's house that was talking to Keegan Klein?
Yeah, and who the hell was behind them?
Right. So I'm thinking Keegan and his daddy are the ones, and they make it look, two people easily can control two little girls. They can move and rinse off
two little girls though.
Libby's body with two men, two grown ass men. They could have picked her up, moved her, rinsed her off in the lake. One person could have been putting the clothes on the other person while the other person was killing the other one. So
you're right.
It makes sense that there may be more than one killer.
It's got to be more than one
in this, right? And what
one of the girls would have ran. There's no way it was just freaking one person.
You're not saying that Libby was 200 pounds, and I don't have anything against the poor girl and her weight or height or whatever.
But two men could easily move 200 pounds.
Well, I mean, one man.
That
guy on the bridge.
Yes.
That guy on the bridge was big enough to move somebody.
Yeah, like if me and Richard was out there in the woods, we could pick up a girl that's 200 pounds, grab her arms, grab her legs. We would move her like it wasn't shit. You know,
two people, hell yeah.
Yeah, so it would be easy to move her. It'd be easy to run.
Bullet. That's what throws it all off is that damn bullet.
That bullet, there's no proof that bullet's even from his gun.
Well, I thought they said it matched the chamber.
If they fired the gun. No, listen. They couldn't.
It leaves a mark.
Richard, they couldn't get the bullet to match by ejecting it from the gun.
Well, then hell. How did they know?
They did when they fired it.
They fired a bullet and it matched.
It took a bunch of tries.
Right?
Probably took days.
Yeah, they fired it a bunch of times. They got one to match similar to it.
That don't make no damn sense.
That's
because if you detected a live round, it's only going to leave 2 strikes on the shell. And there's no way if you fire the shell, it's going to be a total different mark.
So I'm thinking
because of the recoil.
I'm thinking 2 killers. But look, Richard, we're running out of time. You be good.
Yeah, I know.
You stay safe,
right,
brother. All right, peace.
All right, brother. You too, man. Good to talk to you. All right, y'all be good.
All right, guys. I mean, that's what I think because he did confess to talking to Abby and Libby. He had confessed that he was Anthony Schatz, and he was with his creepy ass daddy. Dolly,
did he have a van?
PJ.
Hey, Dolly. It's Alamo City calling.
Hey, Alamo.
How are y'all doing? How are you doing, PJ? I can actually say hi to you right now.
Hi.
Hi. Well, I feel like it had to have been 2 people. There's no way. And then, I mean, this was 7 years ago, but I do remember them talking about the video and they had to enhance the voice and everything. And, even if they did enhance it, Rick's guy is so far down there, there's no way that voice would have been that loud. I really think somebody was behind them as well.
I do
and
too.
That person probably is the one who said that phrase and made them go down, and then maybe Bridge Guy followed along.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, but that whole odinism thing, like, I don't even know anything about that. I don't know if I want to. I saw a movie one time, Gothica, and it had Halle Berry in it. And I think they were referring to odinism in that movie, but I'm not sure. That movie was really weird. They messed her up with like those kind of meds and had her in like segregation and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of that kind of thing too, which, makes me think that, how Hollywood movies are so over the top with things. And then we have these murder cases and it's like, wow, it's something that maybe a movie could have been.
I don't know. Sometimes some Hollywood producers be dropping clues.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
What is it? Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas to be dropping some clues. You ever seen that movie?
What is it called again?
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
They start talking about adrenochrome and stuff like that, and now we know that stuff is kind of like could be possibly real. And they were talking about it way back in the day of tears of scaring kids, and making a drug from their adrenaline.
Oh man, yeah, and then when you think about all this other stuff, like what P. Diddy was doing, I mean,
yeah, he was putting what was it, GHB on stuff?
Yeah, in the baby oil.
Yeah,
they tested that baby oil and it had drugs. It was like,
in the baby oil. Yeah.
So think about everybody getting a bottle of baby oil at the party, start massaging each other, and before they know it, they're knocked out. And hey, and they may or may not know about it.
We live in a crazy world. We live in a crazy world where crazy things happen.
Very. Hey, I'm gonna let somebody else call in, but before I go, I want to say hi and bye, Richard in Texas, and bye, PJ.
Hi, PJ.
Bye, PJ. All right, peace. Dolly, PJ.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi. My name is Kim. I live in Indiana.
Hey, Kim.
South, a few hundred miles south of Delphi. But there is a lawyer. Her name is Andrea Burkhart, and if you listen to her,
listening to her,
she does just like all PJ from the things she said, because they had Mr. Allen in the hole or the shoe for 13 months. 13 months. Do you know when he was eating paper and eating feces, they turned off his water and he had to drink from a toilet. He was so dehydrated. He would only eat every 4th day. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I live in Indiana. Then he was transferred to Wabash Valley, which is like 10 miles south of me. I know so many people that work there, and I've never heard of this, but I guess it's all over Indiana. And they could always get Richard through his family, his wife, his daughter, his sister, his sister, if you wanted to know where she was today, was sitting beside his wife and mother in court. Nancy said, you know, he raped his sister. No, he was going crazy. He said he was the Antichrist. He said he had just started World War III. He said the end of the world, he had died and the end of the world was already over. PJ, you probably know all the things. I mean, and then the lady, as you said, his therapist was watching your channel, Defense Diaries, Gray News, I forget, True Crime Web or something, the other one.
He was in every Facebook group that had anything to do with this.
That's all she did.
I thought that was a conflict of interest.
She's watching right now.
She's fired. She got fired.
Yeah, I know.
She got fired.
So
and
how
also,
was she still allowed to
prison,
testify?
She's lying, but most people, you know, I've heard the same thing been said about myself. Oh, you're a Richard Allen groupie. No, I'm for the justice system in Indiana and in the United States.
I don't know that guy, right? So why would I be a Richard Allen groupie? I'm just stating.
Myself. I want to know this knowledge. And the judge does not like that all these super lawyers in the United States are there. And then their $45,000 sound system and cameras that she had black trash bags put around. And then Mr. McClellan says, don't get too close to the mic. He doesn't want anybody to hear in there. And then she said
he said that to the psychiatrist or the judge.
Yeah, don't get too close. No one can hear anything. And these people are so dedicated, these lawyers, and I'm telling you, these two lawyers she has, and I still feel it was something ritualistic, but I feel like it was Abby's boyfriend's dad and that Elvis Field that spit on one of them and said, "Oh, you find DNA of my."
That's a Brad Holder.
They found it.
Holder.
Yes, thank you.
Is that DNA that they couldn't identify? Wasn't there male DNA?
Bodily fluid.
Yes, there's two men's hair. Yes, but they haven't tested their hair.
Yeah, why not test the hair? Because you know, then it shows us
they went in and said it. Brad had, when he went back to his girlfriend's, had so much blood on the side of his car. What's that about?
And Brad's interview got magically erased. They accidentally erased over his interview.
There's some strange things, for sure.
They did not read Richard Allen, his Miranda rights, because, we read them, but it wasn't taped.
Yeah.
And no, this is an embarrassment to Indiana, to the United States, especially because everything is supposed to be seen now. And if there's injustice going on with the judge and the prosecutors, then there's something wrong in Carroll County with different people dying. And it's always the same circle of friends. I live by Terre Haute. I was driving with my girlfriend to Terre Haute when that one gentleman that was shot at the FBI agency was the one of them, Todd Click, I believe, is still alive, that was investigating the odinism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they stopped investigating it after the one guy.
They shot him. They shot him. Yeah. They shot him right out there, right outside.
There's definitely something strange going on. And
what's going on?
When there's no
on?
When there's no transparency, you know something effed up is happening.
That's right. That's why I was looking for the word. In this day, look at every trial, like Karen Reed, any trial you see right now should be out for other people to say, don't do this, because look what's going to happen. PJ, keep watching the Andrea and Defense Diaries. That's where I've got the most work I've seen. And they did say that Nancy Grace was only in there for 45 minutes and left.
Yeah.
Now,
she said, we've been here the whole day. I've been here in the courthouse the whole day. No, not true. And I love Nancy Grace. I'm a fan also.
Me too.
But you guys know the story and the background better than her. But now she's publicized that all over the United States.
And people
now let me ask you this: so since you're so well versed in this case, what do you think about Keegan Klein and him catfishing the girls?
I used to think there was something about that, but not any longer. And his dad, I think, had been a bad person. He had no part in it. And Keegan Klein just happened to be catfishing them. But, I mean, I do feel, excuse me.
I don't believe in coincidences, me, myself, right? So
okay, I do feel, Dolly, that these girls went out there to meet some guy, probably Anthony Schott.
Uh-huh.
And Keegan could have arranged that, and then someone else took over. Those girls, and what kids go to the woods? I have woods all around me. I don't know any kids that go to the woods. Who would leave your kids at the woods in the middle of the winter? But there was 3 other girls. There's 4 girls and 3 girls. And they left because they said Abby and Libby weren't coming. I think all these girls were supposed to meet Anthony Schott. And have you noticed, you guys just brought it up, they don't even mention Anthony Schott anymore.
I know. And you notice that the girls, the witnesses to this, said that the guy that they seen out there had curly hair
and was young
and was in his 20s.
Didn't have blue eyes.
One lady in her 40s said he was just beautiful, the man I met. So what the heck? What's going on?
I know. I say the same
And why didn't
thing.
they ever question the 3 friends of those girls? And then the hairs, they didn't find 1 or 2 hairs. They found 72 hairs that were all Kelsey. What's that about?
Yeah.
I mean, unless someone grabs a handful of hair.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hair. PJ, don't you think that's a lot of long hair?
It was in her hand. Like if it was just
Yeah,
on
that's
her
what I mean.
clothes, it would be one thing, but she had a hair in her hand.
Yeah, more hairs. There was 72 hairs of Kelsey's all over. What was she, a dog shedding?
No. I shed that much, but I don't think that would be.
I know. I'll get out in the shower and have a damn PJ hair wrapped around my head.
Well, that's true. PJ,
that long,
do you think, I want to take up your time, but PJ, do you think, since there was the only blood around Abby was the throat wound and just a small amount on all those clothes she was wearing, that they could have hanged her up like the hangman, drained her blood, caught it in something?
I didn't think of that, but that actually makes a lot of sense.
Well, I'm a medium.
And where's all the blood? Where's all the blood?
Yeah, excuse me, that's my point. And Abby was also laid out. And why did she have blood on her hands?
But there ain't puddles
What's that
of
about?
blood, and there ain't blood all over the clothes that the girl's wearing. At some point, if you thinking you cutting somebody's jugular, they're gonna be squirting blood.
Yeah,
and also this phone that was Libby's left under her shoe that Abby was on. It turned back on at 4:30 something in the morning.
Yeah.
And one more thing, there was 2 sets of neighbors out there at like 2:58, almost 3 o'clock, heard screams, and they all called the police. No one came out. Was that those girls maybe at the end, or I don't know. I mean, I just do not know why they are framing a man whose wife said, honey, you were out there, you better call. And I mean, that bullet that was in a memory box, his wife, nor he knew about it. So what's that about? And the saddest thing yesterday was Richard Allen's stepdad, but he raised him crying so loudly. So this has destroyed 3 families. None of them. Richard Allen will never be the same.
No,
he's never gone. Never.
Yeah,
his life's over.
Yeah,
his life's over.
He's batshit at this point.
That's why they try to use him saying that as a exemption of guilt by him saying just.
Oh yeah, they say you can see your wife if you say this.
Yeah,
he said they would yell at him all night long.
They record
never
when
went
they
out.
want to. They start recording when they want to record.
Oh, but they lose the recordings and lose the mail when it's an opportune time.
Nobody's
for them.
blaming Kelsey German. Chat.
Yeah.
Nobody's blaming.
Oh,
her.
I'm not blaming her.
I know.
One more
Someone in chat is being.
Okay. One more thing is they also said all the lawyers that yesterday, 5 lawyers. There was a table in the back. 5 lawyers came in and sat down. It was the lawyers for the ex-warden of where he was.
Yeah.
And the people, they had 5 lawyers. They weren't there today, but they were there all day yesterday because they were worried about their.
But he was going to say.
Now they're building new prison.
Yep.
They said that rats ran through there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, they said that. What is it? Shankshaw or that movie Shankshaw Redemption or something.
Shawshank Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this was as bad as that. None of us know what this man went through. He did not kill those little girls.
Okay, well look, we appreciate.
Oh, sorry, I took all your time.
You're good.
Okay. PJ, you keep watching her, okay?
I will.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, she was a great caller,
Mm-hmm.
right?
She's very passionate.
Yeah, and she's been following.
Kelsey
you can
is
tell,
a victim. Period. Yes.
Yeah, like we
Just
know
because we're
whatever
talking
happened to
about
these
her
little
hair being
girls
on-
is
on
tragic.
her clothes,
The
it's
thing
not-
is, there's a lot of reasonable doubt.
A lot.
A lot, right? Now I'm not positive Richard Allen didn't do this. Okay. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you have to prove in a court of law that somebody's guilty.
Nobody's victim
and
blaming
if you are mentally ill, you may say an alien's coming to get you, a UFO's landing, that you killed somebody, that you saved the world, that you were Jesus. There's people out here that believe they're Jesus right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we know they're crazy. Maybe not. They might be Jesus. You never know. But you
Probably
would think
not.
probably not, right? Or you're not Jesus, okay? But people are crazy and they'll say any damn thing. And in the beginning, when his mind was working right, he was saying he was not guilty. After they put his ass in solitary for so long that he don't know who he is, and he's eating his own doo-doo and drinking his pee, he's starting to say he did it. He don't know how the crimes have been committed, and they're feeding him information so he confesses to the right crime. Because just like I said, in the beginning, he confessed to shooting them. They weren't shot, right?
And in the beginning before that, he said he didn't do it 1 billion times.
Yeah. So let's open the phone lines back up. We got about 30 minutes and for you guys to get your calls in. So we're going to try to keep the calls under 10 minutes apiece.
I don't know why the chat keeps saying that we were blaming Kelsey German because her hair was on the other girl.
That was her hair. We don't even know if that was her hair. Dolly.
Hi, Dolly.
Hey.
It's Heather in Pennsylvania.
Hey, Heather.
How you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, PJ?
I'm good.
All right, PJ's good. We great.
My question is on this case with Bridge Guy, why can't they tell how tall Bridge Guy was? They should be able to tell how tall.
I guess because
this man is,
the
right?
distance that he was at and the video was so blurry, the only way they could actually bring the man into focus was to really enhance the video to the very max that they could.
Yeah, to me, it just seems like if they're able to pinpoint exactly where he was on the trail and they have all this information, they should be able to find out how tall this person was.
Well, maybe they don't
want a dead giveaway.
Maybe they don't want to do
exactly,
that.
Exactly.
Because
because he was so short.
It
Yeah,
would show that
it wasn't him.
That it wasn't him, and now they have arrested the wrong guy, and you can get sued for the time he's been incarcerated.
Exactly.
So you can't just put an innocent man in prison.
That's why I'm wondering. It would be so easy if they could just tell how tall that person was, but like you said, they don't want to.
They want this dude in prison for something. They believe maybe they do believe it's him, but they're definitely doing everything they can do to get him ass convicted.
It's just backdooring him into this. They're just kind of walking their way back into this case is what I feel. And it's an injustice. Like you said, whether he's innocent or guilty, this is a disservice to our justice system.
He still deserves a fair trial, even if he's guilty.
To be put into a prison and treated like a convict when you're not convicted of anything. I mean, that right there, it's not justice. So
definitely not. And then, you know, forcing, you know, medicines into him where he's not consenting to it, then that goes against, you know, me. I'm thinking if you crazy and you don't want to take the medicine, that's on you. Be crazy.
Yeah.
It ain't somebody's job to force you into being normal. You know,
he's obviously, he was crazy at that point. He was in a psychotic break of some sort, and they're eliciting these confessions from him. And like you said, it's convenient when they're taping and when they're not taping. All of it just reeks. The judge reeks.
The judge definitely. The judge definitely reeks. Of, like, she has a personal vendetta for some reason. Like, I almost think the judge did it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, did the judge do it?
Yeah. Like, are they all in this together or what? Because from start to finish, there's just so many bad things that are happening in this case. It's unbelievable. I follow true crime. I'm on the prosecutorial side, usually 95% of the time.
Me too.
But this is a case where it's just like, this does not rise to the level. I mean, they may have had enough to arrest him, because that's a much lower level that they have to meet of a burden to prove. But the burden to convict him is so much higher. And it doesn't reach that burden, in my opinion. If I was a juror, there's no way they wouldn't want me on a jury.
A lot of reasonable doubt. And there's other people that could be suspects, right? You got Brad Holder, you got Keegan Klein, you got Ron Logan that's dead, Elvis. You got different players that bring in reasonable doubt. And when, you know, when there's doubt, you cannot convict.
If I was a young girl not that long ago when the internet and chatting with people, meeting up with guys. These girls were going out there, in my opinion, to meet up with someone they've been talking to. Why isn't that the first route that you would pursue?
Anthony Shots. That's what the state police did. That's who they started looking for originally, was we need to find out who Anthony Shots is. Then they found out that Anthony Shot was Keegan Klein. Keegan Klein and his daddy were like buddy, and they were into this child pornography. And, you know, allegedly they went to Vegas for a little while, were picking up prostitutes together. So they sound like, you know, birds of the same feather. And Keegan is Anthony Shots. Anthony Shots led these girls out to the train trestle. I don't believe in coincidences. I just don't.
Me either. There's no way this little man is out there walking and can control two young girls like that who are physically, you know, the one girl's a swimmer. She's a bigger girl. Like, she's capable of defending herself to an extent against this guy. They're the same height as the girls. And you're telling me they can't scream and create a commotion, or one of them can't get away. There's this little man who's controlling them like that to this extent to make them get undressed. It's all very far-fetched.
I think it was more than one person.
It had to be. It had to be.
So look, hey.
It's very far-fetched, in my opinion, to blame it on Richard Allen. It just seems like the whole thing is not right.
All right. We appreciate you calling in. You be good. You stay safe and stay off them damn train trestles.
All right. You too. Thank you. Bye. Bye, PJ. Bye, Dolly.
All right.
Good night. Bye.
Guys, if you're just tuning in, make sure you hit the like on this button. Does that even make sense? I can't even talk. Hit the like button. And then once you hit it, don't cheat, because I'm watching you. PJ see you too, right? She got eagle eyes.
I got eyes everywhere.
She got eyes everywhere,
forehead,
like a spider. Okay, like a damn tarantula. So hit the like button. And once you do, shout out in the chat room where you're watching from. It's time to represent your city, your town, your hood. We want to know where you beautiful people are watching from. And then PJ got something she wants to read.
Because I had said
take
Elvis,
calls.
and someone in chat said, who's Elvis? Elvis Fields was, I believe, connected by, he was friends with Brad Holder, but I'm not certain on that part. But he was he confessed to his sister on February 14th, 2017, the day after the murders took place, when few people were even aware that Abby and Libby were missing. Elvis told his sister Mary about the crimes and that he used sticks to give Abby horns and tried to give his sister a blue jacket. And that's the guy that also told his sister that they may or may not find his saliva on one of the girls, because he may or may not have allegedly spit on one of the girls.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like this adds some reasonable doubt.
And he took a lie detector test and passed it.
I mean, there are some strange things, that are going on in this. There's too many possible suspects to really pinpoint it to one person, right? Because if I was Richard Allen, I'd be arguing the whole Keegan Klein thing. But he's not in his right mind to argue anything, right? Because I would say, well, listen, this guy led these girls here. This guy was talking to these girls. I never knew the girls, never had any communications with the girls. Why would I kill them? Why would he walk past 3 girls to kill those 2 girls? Like it was almost like whoever was there were there because they knew those 2 girls would be there.
And then this is other facts from this Elvis Fields, his sister. Per her sister, he was rambling, hyper, and borderline incoherent on February 14th. This was the day after the unaliving. He was talking about having a brother and was now part of a gang. He told his sister that he had been on a bridge with 2 girls that were killed. Elvis told her that someone named Abby was a pain in the ass and a troublemaker. He told her he used sticks to give her horns. Elvis tried to give his sister a blue jacket. It's not specified whether he said this to her before or after 12:15 p.m. when the girls were found deceased. His sister wasn't even aware the girls were missing at this time. She later became aware of the murders and put 2 together. Her and her husband then drove to Delphi to report to Delphi. It was approximately 2 or 3 weeks after the murders, but due to the massive amount of tips that were generated, her information may have been overlooked.
And here's the thing. At that time, nobody knew about the sticks either. So at this point that this person is saying this kid's saying this, nobody knew there were sticks, right? They wasn't covered up like Nancy said, but there was sticks, branches placed. And at that time, nobody knew about that. Now, we heard that there was some bodily fluid. That bodily fluid never tested. The girls wasn't raped. But this kid is saying he spit on them and that he tried to give them horns. But, I mean, it sounds like he knew some stuff that other people didn't know at the time, okay? So we know Richard Allen was force-fed information because he kept changing his story. First, he shot the girl. First, he didn't do it. Then he shot the girls, which they wasn't shot. Then once they found out the girls were stabbed, their throats were cut, then he did it with a box cutter that he threw away at CVS. His story just kept changing. Right? It just kept changing to fit what they wanted him to tell.
Right.
When he was telling, they were probably like, oh, that ain't how it happened. And then they kept leaking information to him until he knew what to say. Right? And I truly think the man is crazy. And there's a lot of reasonable doubt. Yeah, the horns. Yeah, so how did he know that?
And his sister took a polygraph test in 2018 because she was worried nobody was listening to her, and she was concerned her brother may have had something to do with this and pass.
Yeah. Okay, now let's open the phone lines. We got just a little more time to take calls. So phone lines are now back open. The call-in numbers on the screen. I know Nina wanted to call in. Nina, if you're still watching, make sure you get your call in.
I think she was the one that might have been upset over us talking about Kelsey's hair. I didn't really understand.
That's what people think it was hair. They never tested the hair, so we don't know. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly.
Hey, Granny.
How are you?
We're doing pretty good.
Good. Richard Allen, I don't think he did this. And I don't think he's bridge guy either.
I don't know. I absolutely don't know. I'm feeling like he's a crazy guy, and he would confess to stealing a Twinkie if you told him somebody stole a Twinkie,
Well, anybody anybody in the shape he's in right now would. He's mentally gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think too.
Yeah. But it seems like to me the down the hill's coming kind of behind them.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the same thing too, and the bridge guy's too far away to be the down the hill girl's voice.
Exactly.
So who's the other player? You know what I'm saying?
I still think it's Keegan Klein and his dad.
I feel the same way, Granny. He catfished them. They were not only that, but they were going to kill another girl too.
Yeah, and you can put a coat like that and a cap on Pawpaw and his boots and blue jeans and get him to walk, and from a distance you can't tell. It looks like Bridge Guy.
Yeah, I mean it's really hard to make out
all
any
of these people look like Bridge
any
Guy.
details. Anybody could be Bridge Guy. That's what I'm saying. It's so vague that it could be anybody.
Well, I just I want him justice for the girls, but I don't believe that Richard Allen did this.
Yeah, there's a lot of doubt. Okay, it's not a clear case of he did it. You know.
No. And odinism is a real thing.
Oh, I know.
And the sticks, I don't know if that was part of a ritual or if they wanted it to look like it was part of a ritual.
To throw people off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That could be the case too.
And we got corrected. They did test the hair that was in her hand. It was said to be a relative of Libby's, but the other hair didn't have a root, so they were not able to test it.
Nina said she called over 91 times. So we're going to clear the phone lines for you in just a second, Nina. Okay. All right, Granny.
Night, Granny.
All right, guys. Let Nina call in.
What area code is she calling in
What
from?
area code are you calling from, Nina?
Because I mean, it's hard to call in.
So we know to take your call. Guys, clear the phone line up for Nina. She's put a lot of money in the gas tank tonight. Okay. So let's make sure that she gets through and gets her chance to talk. All right. So we're going to open up the phone lines. If you ain't Nina, hold off on your call for a minute. We'll be able to take your call, but let's get Nina through. She's been wanting to talk before this even started.
We want to hear from Nina. She's local.
Yeah, and she's local, and she's been following the case, and she believes Richard Allen's guilty. So everybody else thought he's been innocent. So we really want to hear from Nina tonight, okay? So give her a chance to call in. And Nina, the phone lines are now open. I'm going to ask you when you call who you are. If you're Nina, ain't Nina, I'm going to skip you and tell you to call back, okay? So just
don't pretend to be Nina.
Don't pretend to be Nina, all right? We only need one Nina like we only need one Dolly.
Go, right? Nina, go, Nina.
Too many Dollies
go, Nina,
are crazy.
Go, Nina, go.
But the phone line's open, Nina. Here's the call-in number on the screen, 757-797-6694. Let's hear it. Let's do it. There's a little bit of delay, so she'll get this message in like 30 seconds. Dolly.
Hey, it's Nina.
Okay, you made it.
You did it.
Oh my God, I made it through. What is happening?
I don't know. You said you called 91 times?
No, 19 times.
Oh, 19. I was thinking, damn, 91.
You're a little dyslexic.
No, 91. I'm not that crazy, but like 19 times I tried.
Okay, Nina. So you believe Richard Allen is guilty. Tell us why.
Yes. And it is not because of the confessions today, because, we all understand that he has been under extreme duress, and I do get it. I take, because I've been following the case ever since, the girls, a week after they were reported murdered.
Okay.
So there have been situations where Richard Allen is actually the best witness for the persecution because he's the only one who put himself there on the trail.
Yes.
All the witnesses that the persecution came up with, whether it is Sarah or Betsy or the girls, they could not really identify Richard Allen. Richard Allen identified himself.
Yeah.
Why would he do that?
And why he would do that is, and PJ, I'm glad you asked that. Why he would do that is exactly because 2 days after the murders were confirmed, actually the still from the video was released. So I do not believe. I do believe that Richard Allen did not think he was being filmed, and he saw the picture. At that point, it was just a still. It was not even a video 7 years ago. It was just a still, and he thought, "Oh my God, I need to get in front of this."
Yeah.
And so it has been like a little bit like, I understand why people have questions. I am not denying that law enforcement has fumbled this to the fuck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's
I
fine.
cannot
It's
say it
fine. I mean, it is what it is, you know, and this is what's going on. So, you know, I ain't got a problem with what you said, because I believe the same thing. It's been fumbled around a little bit.
It has been definitely fumbled around, because I do not understand. And like, I'm a big fan of Jerry Holman, who has been the detective that did interrogate, Mr. Allen. I think he did a great job. I do not understand why these people have not done height analysis.
Yeah, that's
That
the
is
same thing that other callers said.
Yeah, that is absolutely that's ludicrous. I do not as well do not understand why those branches were not collected right away. This is a homicide in your little town that you've never dealt with a homicide. Why are you not collecting everything?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know, they didn't look at the sticks like it was of any importance in the beginning, you know.
No, they did not. And I think like that is like, honestly, that should be crime scene investigation 101.
Yeah.
You
They
take everything.
They should still have these sticks to the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They should still be in possession of these branches that they don't have.
Yeah. Absolutely. So when it comes to the what the defense is calling the magic bullet, and I love it, and the Melissa, whatever her last name was, who was actually a part of the prosecution's expert, who actually testified about the bullet. I understand why people have an issue, because it was an unspent bullet. It was not just the bullet; it was the bullet, the cartridge. It was the whole thing. And I do not know a lot about bullets and guns at all. I did listen to a different expert on a different channel. I'm not going to mention it. I'm not going to, I'm not trying to do all that. There is an actual science behind it. And there is an actual science behind the fact that if you cycle a bullet through your gun, even if it's unspent,
it leaves a mark.
It will make the same marks as a bullet that you fire.
Well, even putting bullets into the clip will make a mark, because I don't know if you've ever loaded a gun. Me and PJ were talking about this the other day. When you load a gun, you're stacking your bullets, right? And there's a certain amount of pressure that you have to push down. PJ says she hates doing it.
I hate it with a passion.
But when you do it, you're pushing it down and you're sliding it under two pieces of metal that are bent that hold the bullet in place. And as it pushes up, that's how the bullet is released and chambered into the gun. So as
that is
the bullets, it's leaving marks on the bullets, but it can be different marks, because there's no way to position the bullet the same every time you put it in the gun. You know what I'm saying? And that's absolutely even ejected.
No, that is absolutely correct. If you put a bullet in the magazine and you push it down, it will make a mark.
Yes.
So, but the movement that the gun makes when the bullet is cycled is the same movement the gun makes when it's being fired. It just, when it's being fired, it's a little bit more distinctive. Honestly, do not call me out on this. Pardon me. That is literally what I heard another expert say that was not on the trial. And I can like email you the information, and you can actually look at that conversation. I think it was very interesting. I do believe it was very knowledgeable, which does not mean a lot, because I don't think the bullet is putting Richard Allen there. I don't believe the witnesses have been putting Richard Allen there? Absolutely not. Richard Allen put himself there.
Yeah, he definitely put himself there, but he also said he didn't do it in the beginning. He placed himself there, but said he didn't do it. And then
he said you can never make me confess to something I didn't do, and then he confessed to it 62 times.
Yeah,
but after he was in confinement, if you are in a position where you feel like you can't get out of, I do believe at some point you will get to that level of just let me out. I'll say whatever you want me to say.
Okay, but and PJ, I do agree with you 100%. But Richard Allen was there for his own protection. He was on. I'm sorry, I don't say words like unalive and
unalive watch. Yeah,
suicide watch.
Yeah.
And he was there for his own protection because that was the.
But they have that. They have that in the regular jail too. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to send somebody to prison because they're.
But
look
at that in Indiana, in the local Indiana, and I know, like I already know.
Epstein.
I don't even.
They had Epstein in the regular jail, and he was on watch, and he was able to do it. But they got that in the regular jail where they go through and they call it the medical block.
Well, evidently Epstein was not being watched because I'm sorry, but Epstein did not kill himself.
Yeah, I think he's alive on an island somewhere, but that's a different conspiracy.
A whole different conspiracy.
Oh no! I believe he's dead, but I do not believe he killed himself.
I don't even think he's dead.
I don't know what to believe.
He's gone. He's a goner. I'm not trying to discredit you guys, and I can only I'm actually at this point not watching chat at all because I know I'm being ripped apart for being
you're not actually. Nobody's saying anything really bad. Nobody's.
Yeah, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion just like everybody.
Which is totally fine. I stand by my convictions, man. I got diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer a year and a half ago. I stand by my convictions, and which is not like all feel bad for me at all. I do believe though, and there's been something else that we were that you guys talked about that I want to touch on, and that is when Richard Allen mentioned that he took the girls, and that was registered by Libby's phone 2 flights down, which would actually make it's going to be like the 2 ravines or like the 2 steep hills they went down. And he said he was being bothered by somebody who went by, and that person would be Brett Weber of the Weber estate that is the private drive.
That was the guy in the van that testified today?
Yeah, and that's not some guy in the van. That's actually Brett Weber who owns the private drive that is going underneath the bridge. And he actually got off at 2:02 p.m. in the afternoon.
So how do we know he didn't do it?
How do I know
he puts himself at the scene of the crime also then, right?
I mean, how do we not know that Ron Logan didn't do it, and that I have people telling me that Doc Carter did it?
Yeah.
How do we know Keegan Klein didn't do it?
I mean, that Mike Petty did it.
There's a lot of reasonable doubt. There's too many people that could have done it.
Yes, and that is honestly, that is, while I'm still thinking Richard Allen did it, that is the problem in this case, because I do believe we're going to have a hung jury.
Possibly. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they may convict him. They seem pretty determined to make sure this man goes to prison forever. They seem more determined than they do for a lot of people.
I think it's more Judge Gull. I think there's a lot of judges that are leaning towards the state more than they do towards the defense, which is it's questionable. But I do not believe we're going to get, in the state of Indiana, we need to have a unanimous jury. Is that correct?
Yes, every jury has to be unanimous across the country.
Yeah. We're not going to get that in this case.
I don't think so either. It's going to be hard. If they do, it's going to be hard.
Pickletail's grandma said ballistic expert testified the bullet was 2 inches in the ground, not laying flat.
Okay. Again, I'm not a guns expert. I listen to somebody else who is. And again, I would love to send you guys just the link, just to look at it.
Okay.
I'm not
You're more than
going
welcome
to
to.
mention. I'm not going to mention the channel at all.
We try
but
to keep an open mind to everything.
Yeah. And that's why I love you guys. That's why I've been like, honestly, I'm trying to be a private investigator as well, just like PJ. I've been looking into true crime ever since I was 19, so that's 27 years.
Good. That's a good while.
It's fun.
I'm very dedicated to finding out the truth, and because I am very much involved in the Delphi case, I have always said for the past 7 years, when we go to court for the girls, I'm going to be there, and because of my cancer treatment, I cannot. But I'm determined to get like the truth for the girls. Like I'm not here if anybody in chat thinks, oh, she's just like a crazy person trying to blame Richard Allen because
if he did it, I want him to fry.
Yeah, I
just want to know that he did it with proof.
Yeah, if I always say, like, if Dick Allen is the dude, I want for him to meet Old Smokey, but I want for anybody to meet Old Smokey, who did this horrible, heinous crime to Miss German and to Miss Williams.
Awesome. Well, look, Nina, we appreciate you calling. It was awesome talking to you.
Thank you so
you have
much.
A good one. And we're praying for you, definitely. We hope everything goes good with that for you. Okay, just know we.
Oh yeah, well
back.
You know, I'm a tough cookie. I'm good.
Awesome. All right, you be safe.
Thank you guys
Till
so
next
much
time.
for taking my call.
You're welcome.
All right, peace.
All right, bye.
Okay, she was a sweetheart. You know, everybody's entitled to their opinion. And, listen, I may think somebody did it. PJ thinks somebody did it. Nina thinks somebody, a lot of people have been thinking different things. So we're
I'm not convinced that Richard didn't not do it, but I don't believe he did it by himself.
But you can see we're all over the board, right? And if we're all over the board, don't you think a jury might be all over the place too?
Yeah.
Right? So... But, the jury's not supposed to look into it or know.
They don't know hardly any of what we know.
Yeah, they don't know all these other details that haven't been brought into the court, or they shouldn't know it. If they do, if they already know it, then they're just as biased as the psychiatrist was.
Which is like, that's what the judge asks you every time that you come up into the room. At least for every other court case we watched, they... have you listened to anything while you were at home?
You got time to take one more
Not
call?
really.
You gonna wrap it up?
It's 11:30. I'm
gonna take a couple more calls.
Yeah, you can do all that. I was just looking at that, thinking that the hotel concierge had so much nice things to say. He looks like a hotel.
EMT says Keegan Klein was there. Like, I'm a strong believer. If you ask me, Dolly, who do you think is responsible for the Delphi killings? I would say Keegan Klein and his father are responsible for the Delphi
think they're
killings.
responsible for getting the girls there,
right?
But I don't necessarily how can you prove that?
I mean, I can't, but I'm thinking I don't believe in coincidences.
We're getting down low. We're going.
So my belief system tells me right there that Keegan and his daddy's responsible because I don't believe in coincidences.
Yeah.
All right. I think everything in this world happens for a reason. There's a lot of players involved, but all them players didn't know Abby and Libby. You know who knew Abby and Libby? Keegan Klein knew Abby and Libby because he had been communicating with them.
Brad Holder did.
Right? Brad Holder did. Okay, so you got me there. But I'm saying he wasn't communicating with the girls online.
His son was. He was dating Abby.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he wasn't. His son was, but he wasn't.
Yeah, but I don't know.
And that's pretty much of a stretch for I mean, I guess either way, Keegan and his dad would be a weird combination. Brad Holder and his son would be a weird combination, but it's more likely that your creepy son that you're collecting child pornography with and going out and picking up prostitutes together, you're more suspect to me of committing a crime than, say, a father and their son that go play baseball together. Okay. So PJ had to wrap it up. She says she loves you guys. Well, she didn't. I'll say it for her, and she will see you guys tomorrow night. Now, I'm going to stick around for a little bit and take your guys' calls, okay? Phone lines are open. The call-in number is on the screen. Let's chop it up. Who is the Delphi killer? All right? Is Richard Allen being framed, or is he the killer? Dolly.
Oh, my gosh, Dolly, I finally got you.
You did it in the flesh.
I've been trying for like half an hour.
Well, you made it. Who is this and where are you calling from?
I can't believe you don't know my voice yet.
I don't know right offhand.
Sunshine and Shadows.
Hey, Sunshine and Shadows.
Hey, Dolly. Okay, so we're talking what, Delphi?
Delphi.
All righty. Well, first of all, I think they got the wrong guy.
I've been leaning that way, but I mean, I'm not positive. You know, of course, I wasn't there. I'm not the bridge guy. And I'm honestly thinking it's two people because the bridge guy was so far away. Down the hill sounds like somebody that was standing behind them.
I feel like it definitely ain't just one person. I mean, if we're going with the theory of the odinism, it's probably a group.
Now, I don't know about the odinism. I think that's a little bit of a stretch for me. I never really bought into the odinism thing. I honestly didn't, because from the beginning, like I said, when they said they found who Anthony Shots was and they were looking for Anthony Shots, I just knew they were going to say, okay, Keegan, because he's already in jail for the child pornography, right? So we already know he's a creep. All right. He's the only one that we know positively that's been involved with these girls that is a certified weirdo. Okay. We know that.
Well, sure.
Proof of that, right? Because he was busted with all them child images on his computer. And that's what he was trying to do. He was catfishing, getting these young girls to send him nude pictures. So,
right.
You know, him and his daddy were like picking up prostitutes and things like that together. So he comes from a creepy background. He's a creepy dude, and he had communications with these girls. That's why I have my reasonable doubt, right? And I just knew they were going to name him. And then when they said Richard Allen, I was like, who the hell is Richard Allen? You know, I was like, what the hell? I'd been following it for years. And I was like, who the hell is Richard Allen?
I was discussing this just the other day because, you know, I'm right across the river from where that happened. It's not too far from where I'm at.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was discussing it with some friends and even my sister the other day. And originally I was like, no, he did it. He did it. Why would he say he did it if he didn't do it? Well, then I got to say allegedly because I don't know for a fact that it's fact. But somebody brought it to my attention that it has been said that they even tried to trip him up and asked him, you know, did you do this? Did you take the girls here? Threw things in there they knew could not be true because it wasn't how it happened. And he still just said, yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, he was confessing to anything.
Yeah, I mean, you could have asked him, did he hang the moon in the sky? And he would have said yes.
Yeah, I know. I agree that he
So
came to the
it's
point where he done
it
lost his
seems
marbles.
Like he might have a mental issue. Like maybe he's a little on the slow side.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, and another thing is if, you know, I'm like you, I don't know about the odinism. Somebody will probably come at me for this comment, but it's a fake religion. You know,
I mean, people believe crazy shit. And, you know, here's the thing about our Constitution. You're allowed to believe whatever you want. You're allowed to freedom of religion, whatever religion it may be, you know. So, and here's the thing about religion. There's so many of them, everybody can't be right. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's wrong. Somebody's wrong.
I mean, I myself am Christian, so don't nobody come at me, but I do have friends that are what they call pagan, Norse pagan, you know, and Odin is a real god to them. I mean, that's really their thing. But with even them, Norse pagans are like, really, you're making our god into this bad dude.
Yeah, I mean, when I was doing the music, I played in a metal band. So I had these pagan people invite me and my baby mama over to a cookout, right? When I got there, they were eating celery and hot wings. I don't eat hot wings, right? So I sat there hungry as shit the whole time, right? And I was thinking, I am never hanging out with a pagan again in my life, okay? I want some meat, some real fucking food. I sat there hungry. I was trying to be nice. You know, I was trying to be nice. And, you know, they thought they were witches and pagans and, oh my, you know what I'm saying? I was just trying to get some free food. And then when I got there, they were talking cookout. When I think cookout, I'm thinking steaks, hot dogs, hamburgers. I get there, they got some hot wings and some celery. I'm like, oh my God. I'm looking at my baby mama like, you done got me to these damn witches' houses. And they damn free, right?
Man.
Only experience.
That's a weird cookout.
That's my only. I mean, they didn't have no sticks in the living room building teepees or nothing, but all they had was hot wings, and I don't really do hot food, so I just sat there hungry as hell. My baby mama, she eat hot food, so she was fine with it, right? And she could be a witch, so it kind of she liked it. She was good. I'm just sitting there with my stomach growling like
You didn't know, Dolly.
I was about to have a sacrifice so I could grill somebody. You know, I was hungry. I was just like, damn, I should have ate. And I didn't eat. And I didn't eat before I got there. Okay. So I was sitting there like, damn, I'm sitting up in this. I'm thinking they're casting spells and shit. I wish they'd have cast a spell and made some food. All right. But anyway, that's just my run-in with some pagans.
The last thing I'm going to say on the odinism is that sounds like another form of Satanism to me, but you know. It is what it is.
I mean, I thought Thor was like the dude that had the hammer, and I mean, I don't know much about it. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, I don't know. I have no clue.
The guy that I'm with, he's got real strong Viking in him, and
I did see the first two seasons of Vikings.
He follows the Viking traditions and stuff, and he was talking about Thor, and he wants a Thor's hammer. I was like, wait a minute, you worship
in the Viking show, they do human sacrifices. It's an honor to be sacrificed to the gods. I watched the first two seasons.
Like, I mean, people pretty much volunteer to be sacrificed.
Yeah, even in the show, the dude volunteered to be sacrificed, and he was like their main fighter in the show. He was like the badass, and he was honored by sacrificing himself.
Yeah. But they sacrifice their warriors, not their children.
I mean, I'm just saying that they sacrifice humans in the show. Yeah. So if they believe this stuff, what's the thing?
In Viking history, they do sacrifice, but it's usually like their bravest warrior. They don't want to give some weakling to the gods.
Yeah, maybe it is something like that because it was their best warrior that they sacrificed on the show.
Yeah, they're big on warriors and stuff like that. I mean, even in their version of heaven, they're fighting for the rest of eternity. So, I mean, that's all I know on it. I'm not an expert at all.
Yeah. I mean, there must be a lot of wars that go on in the afterlife because you ever seen this is probably a little off topic, but they had unearthed that army of people, the clay pots in I think it's China, and everyone was different. And they say that they put their souls in the clay pots. But so the general that died, he'd have his army in the afterlife. So, and they're still uncovering all these clay sculptures of different warriors. And so when he died, he took his army with him. So if you was part of his army, they unalived you.
Oh my, I don't want to be in your army.
That's what I'm saying. And there was thousands of these clay. I could probably pull the video up where they unearth these things and they're like, what is it when they try to fix them and make them back right? What word am I looking for? But they discovered all these army people, and they believe that they're hollow inside so they could put the souls of the people inside the clay mannequins or sculptures of them, and that they would fight with the people in the afterlife.
Oh my. Well, so far on Delphi, the only thing that I could say is I think they got the wrong guy. I think they need to look into that a little deeper. And I just wanted to tell you one thing. It's a little off topic, but
Terracotta Army. That's it. Thank you so much. It's the Terracotta Army.
Terracotta Army. I have actually heard of that. But so real quick, Dolly, and then I'm going to get off here because I know somebody's probably trying to call in. Did you happen to see, I think it was Silvers on the Scene said something about somebody had emailed him saying that there's a possible location for Sebastian. I don't know if it's a possible body or him actually, but it's 27 miles away from his home.
No, I haven't watched it, to be honest with you.
Watched a little bit of it. He said
we kind of moved on. We kind of moved on from that case because everybody's going to court and suing people, and there's threats of them suing me behind that. Right?
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's why we have a legal fund set up that people can donate to.
I got sick and I wasn't watching nothing, and I missed all that.
Yeah, so they made some pretty good threats towards me. right, for talking about
Why
it.
would they want to hush the case up? Like, okay, alrighty.
Who knows? But so instead of being tied up with them people in court, and we just moved on from it. I still pray to God that they find this little boy, but we don't want to be tied up with a bunch of idiots in court. So we
We definitely don't want to have to bail Dolly out of jail just because they're being silly. But
yeah, you know, like I ain't got much. They take my blood. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no money, so they want to drain my blood. Apparently, all right.
Oh,
they're
my
vampires.
gosh,
They're damn vampires out here on these YouTube streets.
Okay, Dolly. Well, holler at you. I'll talk to you later.
All right, peace.
All right.
And thank you guys for the information on the Terracotta Army. So there's people that believe in the afterlife. There are these wars going on. Maybe it has something to do with odinism or Vikingism or whatever ism that they got going on. Also, you know, the Egyptians, they put their names, the pharaohs put their names all over the tombs. So when you say their name, it gives you power in the afterlife. Did y'all know that? Okay. And you know, the coins that they put in your eyes when you pass away is so you can pay the toll to get across the bridge into the spirit world. Little educational there. Dolly ain't as dumb as you thought he was. Okay. See, don't sleep on me. Don't sleep on me. But I really don't buy the whole odinism thing. I mean, it's possible. I mean, anything in this damn world is possible. But there's just too many unanswered questions in this, and you can't say it ain't. I mean, even for the people like he guilty, but you gotta answer these questions. What if I was on a jury, right? You're gonna have to explain to me how this transpired, how this happened, right? And I don't think they've done a really good job of that. That's just my opinion. That don't mean Dolly's right. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. You know, but that's just my view on things. Somebody else could be sitting there going, well, that's enough for me. Convict him. He needs to go to prison. He confessed 61 times. It's hard to get past a confession when you don't want to, right? Now, listen, Jesse Kelly. Anybody remember the West Memphis 3? He confessed multiple times too. I think 16 times. Everybody said, oh, he had a low IQ. He was forced to confess. His confession ain't good. Let's let the West Memphis 3 out of prison. Child killers. Okay. Dolly, like hell to the nah. They should have rotted their ass away in prison. That's one case that makes me really angry. When people talk about it, I really get mad. It makes me damn nauseous that they let these child killers out of jail. But everybody argues, oh, his confession was forced. He had a low IQ. Okay. He didn't know what time of day it was. And everybody argues to Johnny Depp, Dixie Chicks, Marilyn Manson, you fucking name it. They all argue for these child killers, right? But when it comes to somebody saying, well, maybe he's crazy and that's why he confessed it, it's like, oh, hell no, Dolly. Okay. But I bet you the same people that said free the West Memphis 3, right? You know, when they start making these documentaries, just like now, they're trying to free the Menendez brothers. 2 people that walked in and brutally murdered their mom and dad, plotted it, planned it, premeditate, executed, tried to cover it up. And then when they got caught, they said, oh, I was molested. My dad touched my booty. Let me go. Okay. And now you got all these young ass dumb TikTokers free to West Memphis 3. Not the West, I mean, the Menendez brothers. Either way, it's bad. Johnny Depp, Eddie Vedder, you all going to have to answer to little baby Jesus in the end for what you did. What you did was buy people, right? They bought the parents of the West Memphis 3. In the beginning, the parents of the West Memphis 3 hated all Damian Nichols, all they hated them, right? By the time that money came in, right? Eddie Vedder money, the Dixie Chicks, Johnny Depp. And why would Marilyn Manson help you? Okay, as soon as Marilyn Manson gives up some money, and you know what Marilyn Manson's about. He's part of the damn satanic army, okay? He's part of the Church of Satan. If he is paying to help you, you're fucking evil, okay? I don't care what anybody says, right? And they're going to have to answer for what they done, because what they did is they bought a family. By the end of it, the West Memphis 3 made me sick, and the kids, their parents, they made me sick. I could never sell my kid out for no amount of money in the world. I have one daughter. She's 24 years old. She's been texting me, right? but I cannot sell my kid out. If you come to me with $100 million, I got one kid. My kid to me is worth more than $100 million. You would never, ever in the fucking world see me wear a shirt of somebody that hurt my child. It just wouldn't happen. It is horrible. In the world we live in, money is the root of all evil. Okay. And shame on them people. Okay. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, and you have your opinions, right? But I'm going to tell you now, your opinion sucks. I hate them dudes. I hate them. I wish they would have fried them. But people argue that all the time, that the confession wasn't no good. But Richard Allen's is, no, sometimes people do confess the shit they didn't do. It happens, especially if you were mental. And now we ain't talking Jesse Miskelly in the West Memphis 3. He had a low IQ. He wasn't mental. He wanted to be a mechanic, right? He wanted to fix, he didn't apply himself in school. And when he took the IQ test, he purposely, right, scored low on it so they would show him leniency in court. All right. So listen, the system is a little broken. That's all I'm going to say. The system is a little broken, and they freed OJ just to show you how broken it is. I mean, he literally cut somebody's damn head almost off, and they let OJ go. That shows you our system is effed. And sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. Dolly.
Susie.
Susie. Hey, Susie.
Okay, West Memphis.
Hey, Susie, you got to turn me down in the background or we're going to be echoing real bad and we can't have that.
Okay, I turned the TV off.
Okay, cool. Go ahead. West Memphis 3. Make me mad.
West Memphis 3. The one guy was making interviews on TV, and he was a nut job.
Yes.
And I can't believe they let them out.
I can't believe it either. It just shows you right there that money in this world, like the Menendez brothers, they're letting out. The West Memphis 3 they let out.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. California, if they're listening to Hollywood, they need their head examined.
Yeah, I think so too.
I personally remember that case, the first one on TV. They did show two little boys that were under 12 with an erect penis, and they didn't show their faces, so there's no guarantee it was them, and they were pretending they were crying. Of course, very much like Leilani, there were
I like turtles.
No one blew their nose.
Yeah.
And
come on, man.
No wet face. Do I think they should be released? Hell no. They shot 2 people.
I agree.
They did or didn't. 2 people are dead because of them. Irregardless of their bullshit, 2 people got killed because of them. And
A
they
few moments
were,
later.
in fact, buying Porsches and Rolexes and all kinds of shit.
1 hour later.
They deserve to be where they are.
Yeah.
Did I piss you off?
No.
1 eternity later.
Is that better?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. But truthfully, they deserve to be where they are. And West Memphis 3 should have been kept in jail.
Okay, well, we're talking to Delphi tonight. I kind of just threw that in there because it was about a confession. We're not really going over the West Memphis 3 tonight.
The guy is a wackadooey.
A wackadooey?
Oh, have you seen about him? He's not normal.
Yeah, I know. I said the same thing, that he has some problems there.
I'm not so sure if he is guilty or if he's innocent.
I don't know. I know he's crazy.
I can smell you.
There's some weird stuff about him that's been coming out.
When you go crazy like that, you know what you need? You need some milk.
He needs some milk. I don't think it has anything to do with milk.
Oh.
I think it has everything to do with, I'm not sure on this one.
Uh-huh.
Is he guilty or is he innocent? Did he do it or did he not? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It could have been him. I don't think.
Well, I know he
arrested
definitely didn't shoot the girls. Okay, because he confessed to that, but apparently they were.
We're not sure.
No, we're sure he cut their throats. He didn't shoot them.
Okay.
You are fake news.
Does he have the bullet?
Well, they found a bullet. They found an unspent bullet.
Okay. Was it in his house?
No, it was in the ground, next in between the two girls' bodies.
Oh my. And so far, the evidence they have on him is very iffy.
I would agree.
Okay, proceed. Tell me what you got.
I think he's crazy, and he probably likes turtles.
I like turtles.
Or maybe he has a thing for raccoons.
I mean, I don't know about all that. All right, hold on 1 second, Susie. My daughter's calling.
Okay.
Tiffany.
Hello?
I'm live still.
I know you're live, but I have to talk to you.
Okay, well, let me put Susie on hold for 1 second, and then I'll mute it.
It's not that important.
Oh, okay. Can you tell me what people listening?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just called to tell you, don't forget I'm going to Maryland tomorrow. So you probably won't hear from me tomorrow because we're driving up there. The show starts at 5, and then we're driving home Friday. So I just needed to tell you, don't forget that I'm leaving tomorrow, but I'm about to go to bed.
Okay, well, I love you, kid.
Love you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right.
She's going to a concert.
Yeah,
I
she's
wanna
going
go.
she's going to a concert with her mom tomorrow. Some death metal stuff, right? They probably Odinist, right? I need to ask Tiff.
Oh, that's another thing. My husband was from Sweden. Odin is kind of like Jupiter.
Uh-huh.
It's just an old mystical religion that they had, just like some people believed in Zeus, which the Romans did believe in. So for people to say nowadays that they're into Odinism, these people are nutbags.
Don't be
Because
rude.
Odinism was a mythical religion back in Sweden centuries ago. We're talking about 1,000, 2,000 years ago, and it was kind of like Zeus was to the Romans.
Uh-huh.
The Romans have sadly also prayed to fish gods and sun gods and you name it. But that's what Odinism is.
Did they pray to the Catch Me Outside girl?
Catch me outside. How about that?
But they actually prayed to this fish god. You can look it up on the internet. And they prayed to the sun god. And they prayed to Zeus.
Okay. All right. I can live with it.
So Odin, for somebody to be saying Odinism at this point, that's
You stupid.
2,000 years old, 3,000 years old. So for somebody to come up with that crap in today's thing, it is a little nutty.
What would Dr. Phil say about all this?
You're ugly. You're disgusting. I'm going
know. I
to
don't
kill
watch
you.
Dr.
Give me
Phil.
$200.
I don't pay for TV anymore.
Oh, all right.
I got a Fire TV, and I get all these movies and everything completely free.
Oh.
And then I have an antenna that I bought from China, and I get all my local stations for free.
Okay, Susie. Well,
I don't pay for TV no more. No
Oh.
more satellite, no more TV, but I get everything, court TV, everything free.
Oh, all right. Well, I need to get me one of those.
I'm telling you, Fire TV, you
You're
can
still
pick
here.
up one off of
It's
Amazon.
over. Go home.
And you can buy what they call reconditioned. And you could talk to the thing to turn your TV on and off, and it talks back.
Oh, okay, Susie. All right, that sounds great. All right.
It's really cool. And then you could get a antenna, and you get all of your TV for free. Why pay for satellite or cable or whatever anymore?
Okay, Susie. You be good, and I will talk to you
Bye.
later.
Bye.
Peace, Susie. All right, that was Susie. That was Susie. Susie, if you don't know, Susie's been calling in for years, right? So I don't pick on everybody, all right? Dolly.
Hey, Dolly. It's Alamo City again.
Hey, Alamo. What's good with you?
Well, I have a question. Okay, so I had caught a glimpse today of the sketch art of how the crime scene was, you know, how they were positioned, and then I heard you talking about that too, you and PJ earlier, and then talking about how the sticks were put on them. So what letters was it they said that the girl, like their bodies were shaped in letters?
Well, I don't know if it was really like, I would say one of them was kind of shaped like an X, and it had horns, like horns on her head, almost like that kid described, the Elvis dude. And the other one was the girl had her arm up. She was naked, and I guess maybe an L, maybe like an XL, maybe. And with the stick was laid on her arm that was going up, but her arm was stretched out above her head like this.
And let me ask one more question. So let me put this sensitively as I can. Both were drained of blood. Both.
Now that I know one of them was blood was drained. Now I'm not positive that both of them was drained, and some of this is just alleged, right? We don't know factually, but for years it's been out that blood was drained from one of the girls. Like that's why people thought it was a hunter, because who would know to drain your blood? And they were cut in the throat, but there wasn't pools of blood. Like there should have been more blood. And that's where people come in that maybe she was rinsed off in the creek and that blood flowed in the water. And that's why there's not blood everywhere. But she did have blood on her hands from holding the wound. But where's the rest of the blood?
Wow.
It was rinsed off. And to rinse it off, they would have had to put her in the creek and move her. Right. And she's a pretty good sized girl, Fluffy. And was it one person that did that, picking up dead weight? Or was it two people?
If they said that there was no like drag marks or anything, I think it would be impossible for one, unless the man was really strong.
Yeah.
And I just don't think there would be some kind of a mark, a drag mark or something. For somebody to be placed, down and picked up or however, and there's no marks like that except for where they laid. Yeah, I kind of lean more towards two people. Also with the fact of what I said earlier about how far away Bridge Guy was. And then you hear that command of girls down what did he say? I don't know, down the hill.
Down the hill, yeah.
Yeah. So, and like I said earlier, if they enhanced it, it made the voice sound louder, like the person was closer. He was obviously farther away. And like I said, I think he was just the second person that went down the hill with them. Those girls knew they couldn't fight their way away from two men. They could have. I really wish they had thought better.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really know what they went through. We don't know how many people were there.
I know, and I just want them to get the right person. That's, like I was asking about the position of the bodies and the different things, because that sounds like some kind of ritualistic kind of thing, or it makes you think that,
yeah, but that could be like staging the bodies, could be stage it so it looks like somebody else done it, or it could have been staged for like, I truly believe somebody took a picture. I believe they staged these bodies to take a picture.
Probably. We don't even know. There could be somewhere on the dark web of whatever they call snuff film. I mean, we don't even know what happened, or really,
Yeah, I mean, I do know this over the years of following serial killers, that they always take a trophy. Either a piece of clothing, maybe a ring, some jewelry, some hair, a picture, something to relive the crimes in their mind.
Right.
So when they see it, it brings them back to that moment.
That's what I want to ask you. So you mentioned clothing. Okay. Bridge Guy. Did they find those clothes that the Bridge Guy was wearing at Richard Allen's house? I mean, you know what I mean?
They never found the clothes or clothes similar to at Richard Allen's house that the Bridge Guy was wearing.
That doesn't sound good.
I mean, they found blue jeans, but they didn't find the jacket.
The jacket, yeah.
Yeah, that would be the key thing. Would be that jacket.
I just really don't trust the fact that we really don't know what's going on, and then they're not letting things in or whatever. And then the testing of stuff, I mean, I don't know. It all frustrates me. Well, I'm going to let somebody else call in. I'm enjoying listening. And I want to say before I go, hi, Richard. Bye, Richard. And bye, PJ.
PJ's in bed. But all right, peace.
I know. Good night. All right.
All right. So somebody's definitely responsible. We know that, right? A lot of people believe that one person may have a hard time unaliving two girls because if you grab one, the other one could run, right? But if you have a weapon and you tell the little girl, hey, you run, I'm going to shoot your friend, and just do what I say, and I'm not going to hurt y'all. And then once you hurt one of them, then you attack the other one, and you could possibly subdue two teenage girls as one person. All right. I still think it'd be a little hard. And, I've said it in the beginning of this. I'll say it again. My thought is I don't believe in coincidences. All right. If somebody led them there, why wouldn't they have been there? And if they did, and it was Keegan and his father, like some people believe, not everybody, some people believe Keegan, in some of these groups, people argue with me so much about this when I say, well, what about Keegan Lee? Oh, he ain't got nothing to do with it. But he's the one that started all this. He's the one that catfished these girls. He's the one that led them there. They wanted to meet this model, Anthony Schott's young man, right? He was a young teenage model at the time. And they used his pictures to catfish these little girls. He had nothing to do with it. Of course, Anthony Schott's is a made-up character, and it was made up by Keegan Klein. And the only people that have access to this account was Keegan Klein and his father. And if we look at this like there may be two people, what two people were creepy? Keegan Klein and his father. So they've always been my number one suspects in the disappearance, in the murder of Abby and Libby. Now, it could be something totally different. Now, I could be completely wrong on this. But, I mean, coincidences, right? This crazy. What's the chances of me saying, hey, go to this spot in the woods, and then Jason Voorhees is out there waiting on you? What's the chances of that? Right? It's slim. It's really slim. Or they're connected in some type of dark web sex ring or ring to hurt children. And a lot of people in this whole case want to forget about the third little girl, right? That was also talking to Keegan. She got off the school bus. There's a man with a black ski mask on standing at her bedroom window, and she runs and she gets away. If she would have went in that house, we could be talking about 3 dead little girls right now, right? But one little girl was smart enough to get away. Was that Richard Allen? Okay. Who the hell was that? But people leave that out. You can't show parts of the picture that you want to see. You have to show the whole picture. You got to look at the whole thing. Okay. You can't just look at pieces of it. You got to step back and look at the whole picture and then come to your conclusions. Then if you just listen to pieces of the story and whatever works for you works, and then whatever you don't, you throwing out the window. That ain't how things work. All right. We got to hear the whole story, see the whole picture. And to me, there's pieces missing. There's too much confusion in the story. There's things that don't make any sense. Dolly.
Hey, it's Chrissy.
Chrissy, I haven't talked to you in so long. Hey, Chrissy, how you doing?
How are you doing? I haven't talked.
What do you wait for Susie to call, and then every time Susie calls, you call?
No, I just happen to hear her. But I mean, no.
How do we know Chrissy and Susie ain't the same person? How do we know?
Well, you tried that shit like 2.5 years ago when you were doing that Gabby Petito case, and you swore we were the same person, and we're not.
But it's weird. It's weird that Susie never calls, and then when Susie calls, you never call. And
Well, because you. No, I call only at night. When you call, when you do your show during the day, I'm at work. so I can only call you at
Did
night.
Did you just hear me say I don't believe in coincidences?
Oh, well, I'm not Susie. I'm telling you. Susie has a brand new house and a brand new kitchen, probably $100,000 kitchen.
How do you
and
know that?
Because I heard her on your show, and I still have the gaping hole in the middle of my floor, so I don't have no Susie money.
Okay, so you broke Susie.
Well, yeah, I'm not Susie at all.
Okay.
I'm Chrissy.
Chrissy from Philly.
Yes, exactly. Jimmy, I can't believe you had a heart attack. That's number one.
Yeah, that sucked. Let me tell you.
That is crazy, Jimmy. I heard all that, and I can't believe that you survived everything. And that's so great that you're doing good.
I'm glad I survived. Yeah, I'm glad.
No, I mean, I can't believe like it happened so fast, and then you said your heart completely stopped.
Yeah, it was blocked. I had a little cloggage.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, did they really have to use the paddles on you? Oh my God.
Yeah,
Jimmy.
it sucked. It sucked bad. It's the scariest I've ever been in my life, Chrissy.
I know. I prayed for you.
It still worries me. You know, I still take meds every day, and I still,
Yeah,
you know, it's still in my mind, fresh in my mind too.
Oh, I know. But I mean, you're doing so good with your eating habits, and I want to know.
Well, I've been cheating a little bit. I've been cheating a little tiny bit.
No, but I want to know how you deal with the non-smoking.
I'm good now. It's been almost 3 months. I mean, I haven't
No, it
smoked.
hasn't been 3 months.
Well, August 25th.
Oh, like 2 months.
Well, 2 months.
Okay.
It's a good 60 days. So,
But
yeah.
Jimmy, I was like, no way did my Jimmy almost have a heart attack. This is not possible.
Almost. I had a heart attack. It wasn't almost.
No, I know, but I
had a
mean,
heart
almost like almost died. That's crazy, Jimmy.
I was watching Netflix. The movie sucked. It almost killed me.
I know. I heard all about it, but everybody was so fast at getting you and all that. That's great.
Yeah.
But listen,
But I live right by
about,
I live right by the fire station.
I know you told everything. I know. But listen, I think Keegan Klein. I want to talk about the case. I think the bridge guy is what's his name is Richard Allen. I think he's the bridge guy, but I don't think the bridge guy did the killing.
You might be right because, like I said, I don't think the bridge guy is the person that said "girls down the hill." He was so far
because
away.
you don't see his lips moving. They said he was so far away, and I just think that he got way railroaded into committing to something he did not do. And they didn't they say, but let me ask you one thing. When didn't he do the pictures at the CBS or whatever he worked for, and he would look at the pictures?
Allegedly, he worked in the photo department at the CBS.
Right, but so do you think he saw her pictures there, and that's how he got acquainted with them
it's
girls?
rumored that they came in to get the pictures developed of Abby and Libby for like the funeral, and he gave them the pictures. He didn't charge them.
Right, but was he following them with other pictures before the murders?
Not that I don't know, and that's all alleged. That could be internet rumors. I'm not positive of any of that.
Yeah, I think they forced him into a confession just to get out of the hellhole that they put him in. And I mean, I was listening to other channels and stuff. Like he definitely he's in his right frame of mind now, but I'm saying before he wasn't. Like they say he's better now, like talking lucid with his lawyers.
Well, in the beginning, he was saying, you know, that he was there. He was at the bridge that day.
He was there, probably.
He wasn't the killer, and he wasn't going to.
Yeah, he was. I don't think he was.
Didn't do.
Right. I don't think he was. I think that the boyfriend, the cop that's in the police, in the law enforcement, I think with the one that we're questioning, Holder, is it? Holder?
Brian Holder.
Isn't he a cop or something?
Was it Brad Holder? I can't remember. It's one of the two. Brad.
He's real big, real tall, real big. I think he might have did it.
I mean, there's a lot of possibilities of who could have done it. I just don't think there's no solid proof that Richard Allen done it.
I think Richard Allen looks a lot like Bridge Guy, but Bridge Guy's not the killer.
Yeah, but Bridge Guy is AI. It's like they made that image from a couple of different images, and the video is
they enhanced it.
Yeah, but the video was shot sideways, and then they made it straight up. You know what I'm saying? So they did a little AI editing.
Yeah, it was real far away, and the voice was too strong to be that far away.
And the clip of them was only 1 second. They loop it so you can see
Yeah,
it.
I've seen that.
It's all it is one step is all they have of them.
Yeah, what a shame to just to go there and say, yeah, I was there that day, and then they lock you up, and you can't even be honest.
Well, they didn't lock him up when he said he was there. They locked him up years later.
Yeah, well, because they lost the tape of him calling into the hotline.
But I mean, it was still years later when they arrested him.
But I'm saying the first time they called him in was 5 years after the crime, and the first day that they called him in is the day they locked him up.
Well, no, he confessed to being there, but said he didn't do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Then they
so why would they lock him up if he didn't confess to doing it?
Well, they did the same. They lost the Keegan Klein interview where he said he talked to Abby and Libby too. They lost that, and the Murder Sheets found the transcripts to it, the Murder Sheet podcast, and then they posted it, and then the cops re-interviewed Keegan Klein because they had lost that in the beginning too.
It's a lot of losing.
The police, they weren't equipped for this type of crime. You know what I'm saying?
They just want to have it. They just want to put somebody away, and they want to move on. But they're getting the wrong person, I think.
They need to connect people. Is what they need to do. They need to be looking for a way that these people are connected, because I believe there's some type of connection to somebody. If Keegan ain't responsible, he's connected to somebody that is.
Yeah, definitely.
So did they have a connection between Keegan Klein and Richard Allen? If they can make that connection, I would say, yeah, he's guilty.
I think he was there fishing. Didn't you say he was looking to fish? He was on that bridge for fishing.
You think
then
he got a fish from that high?
No, I'm saying he was in the park, and then a couple of days later, he applied for his fishing license. Did you hear about that?
I don't know. It's been so long. It's all over the place. So you really can't, I try to stick with the information that's coming from authorities. And once you start getting into the conspiracy of it, you hear all kinds of things.
No, but I don't know. I don't know. They did say that they could sense a change in elevation on that phone where she dropped 20 feet from. Well,
we got to remember they didn't have iPhones. They wasn't the most advanced phones at the time.
Yeah, but they still could sense a change of elevation. They said that on the pings, the phone shut off and went back on hours later, because I think that phone got wet in the creek when they were forced to cross the creek.
He's thinking it dried out and turned itself back on.
Yeah.
Maybe, possibly, or the killer turned it on, picked it up, cut it off.
I don't know, Jimmy, but I just pray that they don't send innocent people to jail. That's a scary, scary country we live in if that's what's going to happen.
Well, they put innocent people in jail all the time in this country we live in.
Well, that's scary. We just got to pray they get the right person, because
I agree, Chrissy, and hopefully justice. If he is responsible and a jury determines he's responsible, then he'll pay the price, and I guess he's guilty. But
they haven't proven anything to me.
Not yet. Not yet.
I mean, they're almost over. It's almost over. The prosecution side is almost done. So what are they going to prove?
It's hard to beat a confession, though.
Yeah, but he confessed 60-some times because he wanted to get out of where he was, and he
still never confessed to the right thing.
Right, so
it's
let
not
me
funny,
see
but I'm just thinking they planted this information in his head, and he's just saying.
But what about the box cutter? Was a box cutter really used?
Well, they say that. Now listen to this. They say that he cut the one girl, and the blade got dull. So when he cut the other girl, it was serrated. Now I've never seen a serrated box cutter, so make sense. Do you understand what I'm saying? That he killed one person with it, and it made the blade dull. So when he cut the other person, that the cut was jagged and serrated, from a serrated blade because the razor knife was dull. Sounds pretty fucking stupid to me. I know, but this is what they're saying. You can't make this stuff up.
Listen, I do believe that one person controlled two girls, definitely with a gun. A young girl, yes.
I do
absolutely.
too. I do too. That's what I try to tell PJ. One person could do this. But far as, you know, the possibility of draining the blood in the creek.
Of moving them, but they said that
maybe not the moving part.
The thinner girl had no blood on her hands at all. So that explains to me that her hands were bound above her head somehow where she couldn't wipe the blood from her neck like the other girl did.
Well, Libby had blood on her hands.
Yeah, so the other girl had very, very clean hands. And the one forensic guy said he has never seen such a brutal crime with the one girl having extremely clean hands.
It chipped on the bone. There ain't a whole lot of bone in your neck. They wouldn't cut that damn deep where they cut the bone in their neck. You got ligaments in your neck, and you got your arteries in your neck and blood vessels in your neck. But I don't think they were cut to the bone. You damn near got to cut somebody's head off to hit the bone in the neck.
You got to OJ somebody like that.
Yeah, you had to OJ him with a big knife to, you know, you would have to Taliban him.
Right. But listen, Jimmy, do you think that this is a possibility that the guy that really got them to go down the hill when they saw the elevation change on her phone, and he said he saw another man or a van. They couldn't saw a van. They saw a man. The man that they saw was Keegan Klein coming towards them.
What I think was Keegan Klein was walking across the bridge, and his daddy was the man that walked up behind him and said, "Girls down the hill."
Who's daddy?
Keegan Klein's daddy.
Oh, but do you think Keegan Klein could be that good looking, like that picture of a young 20-year-old guy that was good looking? Keegan Klein is good looking.
Keegan he's real fluffy now. I'll say fluffy. But at the time, you could go back and look pictures of him from 7 years ago. He wasn't that big.
Yeah, but do you think he looked like that description?
Well, you can't really tell what the bridge guy looks like. It's a blur. It could be anything.
No, not bridge guy. They gave another young guy diagram.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Richard Allen didn't look like what the people described. One girl said the person definitely didn't have blue eyes. Richard Allen has blue eyes.
Was a young guy in his 20s. There was a lot of people all over that park. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Why you'd want to hang out there is beyond me, but people for some reason did. That was like the go-to spot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Jimmy, how can they not have DNA on a killer with that much blood around? How can they not have a DNA evidence somewhere?
I don't know. They either dropped the ball, they overlooked something, they didn't test what they should have tested. I mean, I don't know. It's apparent that he didn't rape the girls because there's no sign of trauma.
I think he tried, but he had to stop because somebody was coming.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible, but why was he overdressing the other girl if he was going to rape her? You understand what I'm saying? He took clothes off one girl and put them on the other girl.
Yeah, I know that.
If you was going to rape them, wouldn't you strip them both, nude, or at least waist down? And usually in most rape cases, people ain't found completely naked. They're usually found with their shirt pushed up and their pants pulled down, not stripped. Like he took the time to take their clothes off of them and put them on.
Keegan Klein's dad is dead, right?
Yes.
And the other guy that owns the property, he's dead. So it could be one of them, and they're not even being questioned because they're dead.
And Keegan Klein is in jail for the child P charges.
Yeah, why was he cleared? Why was the cop guy Holder? Why was he cleared?
I mean, I don't know. I just know it adds reasonable doubt. But all right, Chrissy, we're running out of time. It was good talking to you.
Jimmy, don't have another heart attack.
I'm going to try not to. Don't jinx me, woman.
We want you around. Make sure you take your blood thinner.
I've been taking my medicine. I took my medicine tonight since I got home from dinner.
Okay. Jimmy, you cracked me up when you said, what's the name, mule kicked you in your foot. And you had black and blue marks all over them.
Well, my leg had a big bruise on it. It's healed now.
That's from the blood thinners.
I guess. That's what PJ says. I think that's just because she's beating me up in my sleep.
Okay, bye.
All right, peace.
Bye.
When I go to sleep, I hear Dolly down the hill. And I wake up, and then PJ's over there snoring. I'm like, I be having bruises on me. I be waking up, feel like I got in a fight. I'm like, damn, I think either spirit world is kicking my ass when I'm asleep. Something's going on. I don't know. Okay. Maybe damn Richard Allen did it. Okay. Maybe Richard Allen's responsible for my aches and pains when I wake up in the morning. Or it has something to do with I'm old as shit. Either one. It could be anything, right? But I'm blaming it on damn Richard Allen since everybody's blaming him for everything. Okay. Dolly.
Hi, Dolly. It's Mia. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
It's cold. I'm cold. But I just had a quick question.
Okay. I got a quick answer.
Okay. Do you think that Richard Allen would have been discovered by law enforcement if he hadn't placed himself at the scene?
No. They would have had no clue who this guy was if he hadn't have told them he was there.
I kind of feel sorry for the guy. I'm leaning towards he didn't do it either.
Yeah, well, he's going to prison for it. I got a pretty strong feeling that they're going to convict him because they want him convicted.
Yeah, but what about that Keegan Klein? I thought he was supposed to be testifying.
Well, they're bringing him in. I don't know exactly how that's going to go. I guess we'll find out. But if I was his defense attorneys, I would damn sure be pointing the finger at Keegan Klein because he has connections to these girls. He led them there. You got to explain that to the jury. When the jury hears that, that's going to put a lot of reasonable doubt in people's mind. That's what made me doubtful, right? Because I didn't even know who Richard Allen was. All I knew was Keegan Klein. And when they said they had it almost wrapped up, I was like, okay. And then they came out and said they charged somebody with the Delphi murders. I knew it was Keegan Klein. And I turned on the thing and it said Richard Allen. I was like, who the hell is Richard Allen? Right?
I don't know. And they said that he worked at the Rite Aid and gave the family the pictures to the memorial and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's alleged. I mean, that's rumors. I don't know any fact that's factual to that. Like, I've never heard her family come out and say, yeah, he gave us anything. But I've heard those rumors.
Why would a killer do that? I mean, I know killers go back to scenes of the crime all the time.
Well, maybe he ain't the killer and he was just being nice. Here you go. Here's pictures, you know.
Exactly.
Sounds like somebody being nice, but if you're nice and the killer, then it kind of, okay, well, he did it because he killed him. You know, I don't know.
So what do you think? You think multiple people did it? It's just horrible. I was listening to the autopsy.
I'm leaning towards multiple people, and I'm leaning towards Keegan and his father. But that don't mean I'm right. That's just what I think. And I think a lot of the evidence points in that direction up until they go to the bridge. Now, when they get to the bridge, it's anybody's game at that point. You know what I'm saying? But leading up to the bridge is all Keegan and his daddy.
That's so sad.
You know, it could be, I don't believe in coincidence, but it could be a coincidence that he led them there and there just happened to be a crime of opportunity, that he would just happen to be there, see them and kill them. I mean, that would be a crime of opportunity. I believe this was meant to happen. Me, myself.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I heard, aren't they saying the Odin, they have them in the COs, they're wearing those patches and stuff in the prison?
Well, maybe the COs are in the odinism, but that don't mean just because they're in the odinism don't mean they killed anybody. Or any of these people at the bridge or any of these people witnessed at the bridge, just because you believe in a certain religion, don't mean you responsible.
Well, they're trying to pin it on Allen, right? The same thing.
Well, he confessed. None of the odinism people have confessed, but I believe he's confessed out of distress. Just my thought. I mean, I could be wrong, and he confessed because he did it, but I feel like he was batshit crazy, and he would say anything to get out that cell for 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, what killers that we know of in this day and age have confessed to their crimes? None.
Some killers confess. It takes a little while, but usually once they realize they ain't never getting out, a lot of people, believe it or not, they want their crimes known. They want to be famous for it. Yeah. They say weird, crazy things. Gacy, he confessed to his murders. Bundy confessed to his murders. Charles Manson never killed nobody, so he couldn't confess to nothing.
Exactly. I agree.
The Night Stalker, he confessed to his murders. Hillside Strangler, Gary Goodridge, the Green River Killer, BTK. A lot of them do confess. Once they realize it's done, then they just want it, the book deal and the documentaries and the fame of it. Infamous. They want to be infamous.
You know your stuff, Dolly, because I don't know about all of that. I know of the cases, but I didn't know that they confessed.
Even what's the dude that ate everybody? Jeffrey Dahmer.
Dahmer, yeah.
So I mean, I could go back through a list of serial killers, and it's weird. I know all these people. That's kind of scary. All right. Well, look, you be good. I appreciate you calling.
All right, Dolly.
All right, peace. All right, because look, when I was young, I didn't have cable, and one of my teachers told me, they said, he's like, do you ever read books? I was like, hell no, I just watch Star Trek and shit. He's like, why not? I was like, I don't know. I just don't find that, He's like, well, what interests you, right? And I don't even know if I was joking, but I told him the WWF and serial killers, right? And this teacher brought me a book on serial killers, okay? And I think the first one he brought me was on, hold on, callers, hold on a second. I want to tell the story. I think it was John Wayne Gacy. All right. So he brings me this book. And, back in the day, TV used to go off at midnight. It would show like the national anthem, right? Because I didn't have cable. And then it'd go to like a screen that like with the colors. I don't know what they call that damn screen. And then it would cut off. So I've always had like insomnia. I would sleep probably just a few hours a night, even when I was in school. So I started reading the book. And by the time I got, just a little ways into the book, I was hooked. Okay. So then I started getting books. And then, the same teacher, he asked me, he said, did you read the book? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, he thought that was awesome because he did get me into reading these books, but they were serial killer books. I don't know where the hell he got a serial killer. He is a principal. That same teacher, he's a principal at the school down the street right now. He was a teacher when I was in school, but now he's a principal. He's old as hell, but he is a principal at the high school down the street. And he just wanted to get me into reading. And then eventually I started reading books on, Charles Manson and just different killer shit. And, but I was tearing through books pretty quickly back then. I got to a point where I stopped reading again, you know what I'm saying? But, you get cable, video games. But at that point, I didn't really have nothing to entertain my mind but reading these books. And I believe that's why I know so much about all these serial killers, Ed Gein, just different people over the years that were, mass murderers and the crazy stories. And I've always, even though I wasn't a true crime person, I've always been into that, right? From time I was young, my mom was even into that type of stuff, right? True crime shows. So I'd sit around and watch a lot of that stuff with her. And then she would read like murder mystery magazines. She had a ton of them bitches. And I never really got into them. I never really read the magazines. I was young, but she was. So I think it's just something in your blood. You know what I'm saying? That I was meant to take this path possibly. But that's how come I know so much about it. Not that I ever would want to hurt anybody. I love everybody. My whole fascination with serial killers is them not killing people, believe it or not. It's when they snap. When does a normal person lose their shit and start killing people? Like there's a moment, because I believe every kid is normal. Some people believe some kids are born evil, right? Some people are, but I believe people are like sponges. You're a product of your environment, and the things you take in create who you are, right? So it just depends on what you believe. And at some point, even Ted Bundy or your John Wayne Gacy's or your Jeffrey Dahmers, they were normal people. Okay. And then something clicked in their head and then they became psychos. Right. My fascination is is what clicked in their head that made them go, okay, now I'm going to go strangle a bunch of women, or I'm going to go kill these boys. You know, that type of stuff. It was always my interest of what the hell is going on in their mind to make them do these things. Now I open the phone lines back up. I got just a couple more minutes that I can hang out with you guys, and then I got to get out of here. Okay. We've ran a little over 3 hours, but I wanted to give you guys a chance to get your calls in the night. So I could probably take maybe one more. Dolly.
Hi. This is Melinda from Oklahoma.
Hey, Melinda. How's it going?
Hey, I'm good. I am actually originally from the Delphi, Indiana area.
Awesome.
And so for me, this boiled down to something that happened in court a couple of days ago. Nobody ever knew the time of death. Everybody just thought that when they couldn't find the bodies by the time the sun went down that day, which went down early.
Yeah, that they were deceased from that point.
Right. That nobody knew whether or not they survived through the night or whatever. But they gave a time of death from the morning of the autopsy back 48 hours. And for me, his cell phone pings, his moving about by his own admission, and that puts him right there at the time of death. And for me, that answered every question I ever had. That he is responsible.
He said,
I don't think he's alone.
He reported the time that he was there was before the girls were actually there.
But he reported it that way. But his pings from his phone changed all that. Plus, there was an old, equipment thing that was going on with one of the towers that didn't make that tower report the time. I can't remember where that's at. So if anybody knows, I would like to know so I could rehash it and make sure that for me, it really comes down to the time of death. They were dead by that night. They were dead before the sun set.
Maybe. I mean, we're not positive of that.
That's what they brought up in court 2 days ago.
Yeah. I mean, I know what they brought up in court, but I'm saying we're not positive of the exact time that they were killed. We know it was after they were dropped off, and we know what time the video, they knew what time that was taken. But from that point on into the night, they don't know exactly what time. They can narrow it down, but we don't know that, they don't know the exact time of the death.
It's just for me.
They know it within a few hours. They know it within a few hours.
Exactly. And just for me, knowing the landscape, knowing how soon the sun sets in Indiana, knowing all of that.
Yeah, it's dark early everywhere, in the wintertime. So it's going to get dark pretty early. By 6 o'clock, it's pitch fucking black.
Especially out there. There is no lighting out there.
Yeah.
So for me, that's what it is. And I appreciate you battling on with me about this. I just wanted to put that out there.
Oh, that's fine. This is what I do.
I know. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Be good. Peace.
You too. Bye.
Okay. So this says, Kimberly says, Dolly, I think Richard Allen is innocent and Keegan Klein is involved somehow. I'm sure of it. Kimberly, I've always thought that too. I don't know exactly, how they're going to connect these people or if there is a connection to these people. But to find somebody innocent, all you got to have is reasonable doubt. If you heard anything here tonight, you heard reasonable doubt. All right. Now, all this stuff that we're discussing here is not going to be in the courtroom for the jury to hear. All right. Because we're talking, rumors and things like that. So everybody's not getting to hear all that. They're getting hit with what is in front of them. And that's all they have to go by. And like I said, sometimes it's hard to beat a confession. It's just hard. And most people that are innocent would say, hey, I would never confess to a crime I didn't commit. Keegan got 42 years. He would have confessed already. No, 42 years, you can parole out. You confess to a double homicide, you ain't never getting out. You ain't going to tell that shit. right? If I was sitting in jail and I had murdered some people, I ain't telling you. I wouldn't do that, of course. But if I did, I ain't telling on my damn self. I ain't stupid, right? So nobody wants to, life without the possibility of parole. Keegan, he's a sick individual. He's a nasty ass person. But is he stupid? I mean, he's stupid, but he ain't stupid enough to tell on himself. That's what I believe. But that's just my opinion. That don't mean I'm right, guys. That's just what I think. You're entitled to think whatever the hell you want to think out here, right? If you think Richard Allen did it and you would find him guilty, you're 100% can think that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at you, right? I'm just discussing it with you and sharing, what I think. And I'm listening to what you guys think. And somebody's right. Okay, somebody in here is probably right. That's who, though. That's the $1 million question, right? Who the hell's right? I just know it's sad that these little girls lost their life, and at this point, there's no bringing them back. And I believe in justice in this world. And listen, if they do have the wrong person and somebody else did commit this crime, they're going to pay in the end, right? When they leave this world, you're all going to answer for your sins, right? You did something that heinous. You can believe you're going to be talking to the little baby Jesus about it in the end, and you're going to have to explain yourself. I wouldn't want to have to explain something like that. Like why you killed these 2 kids or we ain't letting you in heaven. You're going to have a lot of explaining to do for some forgiveness, right? But I still believe that I don't believe in coincidences. I also believe that the justice system can mess up sometimes. I believe that you can buy the justice system. It's, it's fair when you got money, but when you broke, the justice system ain't the most fair. That's just how I feel about it. But anyway, guys, I got to get ready to get out of here. It was great talking to you guys tonight about the Delphi case. And of course, as things go on and more stuff comes out, we will be discussing it more. So if you didn't get a chance to call in tonight, chop it up with me about the case, this case is going to be going on for a little bit. It's big news right now in the true crime world, and we will discuss it some more. So listen, my question for everybody tonight is to leave in the comment box after this video ends, not in the side chat, but in the comment box. Make sure you leave a comment too, because when I wake up in the morning, I like to read your guys' comments. Who do you think is responsible for the death of Abby and Libby? And if you believe it's Richard Allen, tell me why. Or if you believe it's somebody else that did it, tell me why you believe that. Okay? And I look forward to reading your guys' comments. So if you haven't yet, before you go, make sure you like the video, right? And remember one thing out there, guys. If nobody else loves you in this world, Dolly does. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.